I didn't want to be a barber anyway. I wanted to be a lumberjack. Leaping from tree to tree as they float down the mighty rivers of British Columbia. The giant redwood, the larch, the fir, the mighty Scots pine, the smell of fresh-cut timber, the crash of mighty trees. With my best girlie by my side, we'd sing, sing, sing. I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I sleep all night, I work all day.
He's a lumberjack, he's okay. He sleeps all night and he works all day.
I cut down trees, I eat my lunch, I go to the lavatory. On Wednesdays I go shopping and have buttered scones for tea.
He cuts down trees, he eats his lunch, he goes to the lavatory. On Wednesdays he goes shopping and has buttered scones for tea. He's a lumberjack, he's okay. He sleeps all night and he works all day.
I cut down trees, I skip and jump, I like to press wildflowers. I put on women's clothing and hang around in bars.
He cuts down trees, he skips and jumps, he likes to press wildflowers. He puts on women's clothing and hangs around in bars. He's a lumberjack, he's okay. He sleeps all night and he works all day.
I cut down trees, I wear high heels, suspenders and a bra. I wish I'd been a girlie, just like my dear mama. I cut down trees, wear high heels, suspenders and a bra. I wish I'd been a girlie, just like my dear mama.
Oh, heavens! And I thought you were so rugged!
Dear sir, I wish to complain on the strongest possible terms about the song which you have just broadcast about the lumberjack who wears women's clothes. Many of my best friends are lumberjacks, and only a few of them are transvestites. Yours faithfully, Brigadier Sir Charles Arthur Strong, Mrs. P.S. I have never kissed the editor of the Radio Times.
Well, I object to all this sex on the television. I mean, I keep falling off.
Admiration I actually have for China, because their basic dictatorship is allowing them to actually turn their economy around on a dime and say we need to go green as fast as we need to start investing in solar. I mean, there is a flexibility that I know Stephen Harper must dream about of having a dictatorship that he could do everything he wanted, that I find quite interesting.
Why do I make things complicated? Why do I lose all my control? I keep on letting my bad habits make us both come crashing to the floor.
Okay. I have no idea how that one got on my playlist. Yeah, we're just gonna switch it off for now. Oh boy. Yeah, it wouldn't be a stream without something feeling right off the bat. Good evening, it's Cryptomeria. Good to see everyone. I hope everyone is well. If you're not familiar with me, I'm an artist out of Victoria, British Columbia, hence why I thought we should play the provincial anthem, you know, good old Monty Python. And yes, it's actually true. Like, I would say it's not like only, you know, I'd say 2/3 maybe are, you know, swinging. Bad jokes. Hope everyone's well, and I'm gonna pull up my blog. I usually do a blog with artwork in between, just different news clips. Some are like just comedy clips, some are news clips, some are it's just random stuff I find. And also I have like my artwork in between. And yeah, if people want to come on panel, I'll do the panel. We still have also come on, petition E-4701 democratic process. We're up to 300,000 signatures. Come on, Canada. You fed up with Trudeau? Like, well, you're going to be after this Christmas. Just saying. So if you want to help your democratic process, send a clear message to Ottawa that just look down there. Yeah. So if you are on X, you will not be able to. You can write it down. Yes, we still have pens and paper, so you know, and I'm sure you can find it floating around. It is a hot topic on X. That's like our sad government. It's sad. So I'm gonna see where I left off last night. Let's just present, because I don't think I was quite at the end. Was I at the end? Actually, I think I was at the end. Well, oopsie daisy. We'll pull up today's then. Yeah, I did get to the end. Oh, that's good. Yeah, there's some day, I'm still missing a day, but we're gonna go onward. I can always go back to it if people don't want to come on panel. This is going to be cool animation. I just want to like spend more time with it and actually kind of like I don't mind the black and white, like the gray tones, but I think I could, like, I'd love to see, wait. Oh, it's not working. Bummer. Oh, no, it was working. I just gotta reload it. Sorry. No, don't do that. Don't. No. So, yeah, Mercury's in retrograde. Which always is fun for technology. Yes. Now, just don't touch it. Don't touch it. Just let it load. Let it do its thing. There we go. Sorry, it helps if you swear at it sometimes. Sure, anyone who uses a computer has these moments. There we go. And then I think I know I'm missing a day, but I'm not sure which day, so. And I can always. Now this one, hey. Hi to everyone on Twitch who's watching me. Do not expect the titties. I'm sorry, just because you can do it doesn't mean you want to do it or should do it. But I'm going to pull up this one because this is like, yeah, well, here we go. Yeah. And I know some people are really excited about this, but I'm like, when you hear this article, you're like, maybe it's not such a good idea. It's kind of cringe. Not just kind of cringe. It's like full out cringe. You know. Yeah, this is disturbing.
Well, the other shoe has finally dropped.
Yeah,
In
kind
its
of.
final last gasp for competitive advantages, Twitch has just gone completely off the deep end. Hey, Hucky!
Hi, all my
Surprise,
Twitch
German
fans.
Good
Fuck
boy.
me.
Huck likes to come to work with me, you all know. And he's a good boy. Who's a good boy? Anyway, Twitch has been losing market share to websites like Kick and Rumble and YouTube in terms of live streams. And Twitch has really done nothing to innovate over the past couple of years. Twitch remained big simply because that's where the audience was. Just like YouTube for a very long time. People just went there because that's where the people were. They didn't really have to innovate very much because there was no legitimate competition. Well, now there's Rumble, there's Kick, there's BitChute, Odyssey, there's lots of other alternatives. The two biggest alts basically being Kick against Twitch and Rumble also against Twitch. People still think Rumble's a
See,
bot
I
site
do have
competitor to
a
YouTube,
Kick account.
but I think it's actually competitive
I
to
haven't
Twitch.
linked it up
Look
yet.
at Rumble had the two largest
I
live
have
streams
it,
in
you
the
know,
world
like
this
my
morning,
Rumble
back
account.
to
I
back.
haven't linked that one up yet. I
Between
just.
Bongino.
I'm
Dan
probably
Bongino
gonna do a
show and
Rumble
another- it's
stream
number
on the
two in
weekend.
number one and number two in the world. Not, I mean, it was massive, right?
I overthink things
You don't think
sometimes.
Twitch would have liked to have 100, people
my
who
first
live stream
time,
every
so
single
I
day
wanna,
for
like,
100,000 concurrents?
Meanwhile,
No,
on
they don't
here,
want
I'm just
conservatives on
like,
the website.
yeah,
Okay,
I
so
woke
fine.
up. I
So
don't
they
have on
continue to lose
makeup.
market share,
Let
and
me.
now they've gone full
Like and
desperation. They will
subscribe.
now allow, quote, artistic nudity amongst other things for your 13-year-old boys.
Woohoo!
The amount of things that they're now allowing without any kind of disclaimer for basically kids to watch is appalling. And we're going to get into all that after a very apt ad here for perhaps something these women should be using. And that's Sheath underwear. Check this out. Huge shout out to this video sponsor, Sheath. Look, fellas particularly, I know it can be a little bit weird to be thinking about changing out your underwear.
Sorry.
Something you've been wearing basically the same thing for as long as you can remember. But allow me
You can
to
tuck
give you
the
a
boys
couple of
away
reasons why, plus
in
ladies,
proper
Sheath
pockets.
also has a lot for you as well. Look, fellas, first of all, the boxers are designed to keep your balls off your legs. Sheath has two individual compartments to keep everything down there, separate and comfortable. Traditional boxer briefs are barbaric, invented during the Neanderthal era. Sheath has a modern ergonomic design intended to prevent skin-on-skin contact for long durations, which can build heat, sweat, and smell, fellas. There's an inverted kangaroo pouch for your joey to keep you from sticking to your thigh. You'll chafe and readjust less because everything is cool and in a separate compartment. They were invented by a U.S. Army soldier who came up with the idea for Sheath during his second tour in Iraq, where it was hot as hell. He invented these underwear to keep your boys cool and comfortable. He's basically a hero. And again, I know it's a weird thing to think about changing, but I'm telling you, once you try Sheath's products, men and women, there's a wide variety of sizes available. I think you're really going to love them. So click the link below and use code TheQuartering at checkout, or go to sheathunderwear.com/TheQuartering for 20% off. And hey, you'd be doing your balls a huge favor. I know, it's odd to be thinking about making that particular kind of change, but I highly recommend giving it a try. A lot of the women I know love their product. I know Sydney Watson loves it, and all the men, that use it really, really enjoy it. Veteran owned, give them a try. Twitch will now allow artistic nudity, whatever that is, because there's this new quote-unquote meta of women standing out without any clothes on. But it gets far worse than that, far more degenerate. And look, I get what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
They're essentially saying, look, you can open up Twitter and find it. You can open up YouTube, find it. You can open up
pretty much.
Twitch and find it. So let's stop pretending that we actually care. Because, quite frankly,
It's
they
already
never
out there.
really cared. Right? Twitch makes a huge percentage of the subscription revenue. Everybody needs more revenue. That's the thing. I don't
I'll
know
take
what
your
order I'm
money.
releasing videos in, but there's this huge YouTube scam ad issue going on that YouTube doesn't seem to care about because, well, money. They're
Yeah.
fighting against
like some of the ads, I had to go
blocks,
back
right?
to premium
Forcing
because
their
it was
big
I
streamers
couldn't
to
stand
more
the ads. I was
everybody's
like,
desperate for cash. I could tell you, in November and so far in December, I'm trending for half.
Some of them are
well, not
such bad
totally, but I would
companies.
say like 60% of what I made last year with similar views. Now, I'm not complaining. Thankfully, I have a daily live stream show over on Rumble at 1 o'clock Eastern that has offset that. But, it was a huge cut. And that just means that the inventory isn't there. But now they've added certain context is now allowed with labels. Quote unquote artistic. So, your naked yogas, your
this is going to go bad real quick.
Your interpretive dance, your Sibians, all this kind of stuff will be artistic now.
Furries, yeah, they're going to come all out of the woodwork on this one.
But by the way, it's permitted with a label. Ooh, a label. That's going to stop kids. I know when I was a kid, I was like, ooh, when a website said, "Are you 18?" I always said no. And then, this kind of stuff in video games. Okay, I get that. Body painting, which is a previous loophole where essentially, a woman would whip her bobs out and paint on them. She'd put a pasty on and call herself an artist, but it's really just for 13-year-old boys to jerk it to. Mature games, that's fine.
Yeah.
Stream visibility impacted by content labels. Now you say this, to get it even more hilarious, okay? Changes to popular dances. Twerking, grinding, and pole dancing are now allowed on Twitch without any label. So your 13-year-old boys, by the way, 50% of audiences on Twitch are under the age of 17, roughly. 48%. This is the last numbers I saw. About half of everyone on Twitch is underage.
Yeah.
So now they can pull up Twitch and watch
That's
all
how I
those,
only have like 5 people watch
them
me.
clap it. Watch those big booties clap. No labels, so mom won't even know what you're
I
watching.
had it for
It's
gaming.
not age-gated, it's nothing.
I didn't
Now,
mean for it to become a political...
You can make the argument. You could pull up that video on Twitch.
I didn't expect for Canada to adapt so much in dumpster fire either, though.
It all is.
There's a lot of
Popular
unexpecteds
dances
in
such as
life.
Twerking, grinding. What is it? Grinding, I thought, was like smushing your crotch onto another person.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that what that is? That's what? That's allowed? And then pole dancing are now allowed without a label.
I need a pole.
And it won't even be visibility
How do
suppressed.
I get a pole in here?
Previously, some dances were prohibited, and
That's a
others were
space.
allowed with a label. Enforcing on
Nice
dancers
concrete
regardless of
floor
context, but
to,
our
like,
policy prohibited twerking at a wedding
Get one of those
that's
really
classy.
stable, like...
or taking
there's
pole
some,
dancing exercise class. That's fine.
Yeah.
For example, the policy now takes context into consideration. It only prohibits streaming from inside a strip club. Oh, so they do have some rules. Only you can't go in.
So it doesn't matter what you do.
Tommy's titties and live stream from the stage. Why even bother with that?
Yeah, I know.
Why even bother?
Hey, like, those incels are not
Why
going
even bother
to
adding
the
anything?
strip clubs. Like,
This is a gaming platform. Similar to what happened to the gaming platform? I knew. They don't even age verify for streamers like cam sites do, so you're gonna have underage girls doing this. Twitch
I thought I had
admitting
to
that they are a cam girl site now instead of allowing rule violation embedding to it with new categories. I don't shame those in adult entertainment.
This is going to be
That's
like
their
the
own
new
choice and
Pornhub.
freedom to do. Big agree. However, I do have an issue with Twitch's new guidelines. This is sickening, allowing young kids and baiting younger kids into adult
But
themes and
it's
situations for
already
clicks
on
and views. I mean, that's
YouTube.
what this
It's
really
already
is.
on YouTube.
It's
And
criminal.
don't think that
And I've said this before.
even if you have the
I
parental
think
controls on, your kid
I
can't
think
get
there are
around
two
them.
types of women that create this content. Let's be honest, men don't do it. Because men don't watch Twitch. Or women don't. Not in any real numbers. They either know that 13-year-old boys are double, getting
Yeah,
the
I'm
poison out
sure
watching them,
this is like a really
or they are
sexy
completely
stream.
oblivious to it and they think everyone watching them must be 18. Which do you think it is? No age verification. So people say, Kicker, YouTube now? No. How about Rumble? At least give it an age restriction. Nope, no age restriction. I mean, are you kidding me? Is this real life?
Like,
So in other words,
and
they're gonna
YouTube
shadow ban
tries,
people,
but
they're
it's
going
not
to
like
allow the
kids
content, they're
can't
not
get
gonna make
around
these
it,
discoverable.
or they
No,
won't.
they're not going to do that either.
You
And
know.
then you have all these whores in here. Oh, time to make a Twitch account. Yeah, of course. I mean, this is modern society. I'm not, you know, this is, look.
I actually think
least
I
they
even
admit it now.
replied on this.
The prevailing
On X.
meta for Twitch essentially was women running right up against the line. Right up against it. Right to the areola. Okay? Right? And then that was enough for the little boys. And then what they would do is give them links so they could go pay to see the rest.
Yeah.
I actually think now that they won't be able to, now that you can see all the bobs and vagines that you want,
Yeah.
you're going to get full vag on Twitch now. You want to go enjoy yourself some beef curtains and ham wallets? You can. Only on Twitch. It's gaming for kids. Now again, I'm not stupid. I know you can go find this stuff everywhere else, but I don't want to hear Twitch calling itself a video game website anymore. It's
No,
not.
I think
It's a
everyone
degenerate,
accepted it.
Like live. It's a live streaming platform. Will anybody leave because of this?
No.
Seems unlikely.
No.
To me, it seems more like Twitch is desperate. Like Twitch is like, well, this is all, you know, all the big streamers who are already big left Twitch for either Kick or Rumble. You know, you
Yeah.
have people on Rumble doing 100,000 concurrents now.
Yeah.
Find me anybody on Twitch doing that on a regular basis. You have people on Kick doing 100,000 concurrents. You know, and so what do they have left? Pokimane. They got Pokimane left to call her viewers poor. You got Asmongold. You got Kai Cenat. That guy's going to leave soon. Why wouldn't he? You know, Amazon's taking 50% of his bag. Why wouldn't he leave and go to Kick? Which is a more natural fit. I'd love to see him on Rumble, but I get why he'd go to Kick.
Yeah.
Those are his people. 13 to 17-year-old kids watch his content. I Show Speed, same thing. You know? Although Speed is on Rumble, shout out. Kai and Speed Show. Kai Cenat is on Rumble, too. They have their own show on there.
Yeah.
But it is wild to me that this is where we're at.
Yeah.
And it's stunningly pathetic for Twitch. Do you think that this is the beginning of the end for Twitch?
No.
Or is it just a natural evolution for them?
It's
to
like
become a
any
campsite?
platform. It's like any platform.
Pretty gross. I don't think a lot of parents are going to feel good about their kids being able to stumble across, you know, artistic, double-ended writings on their Twitch app, on their iPads. while their
I'm
parents are
sure,
out working.
like it's
Yikes.
already been there. It's just, you know, is it going to lead to exploitation? Like, I don't think it's going to be quite as bad as he's painting it out to be, but like, see, is that like, you know, there's artistic nudity right there. Oh, this is nuts. I do pull up a lot of clown on it. Women who, oh boy, yeah, she was sentenced to work, yeah, $300,000 for an entire shopping center. I could live out like my zombie fantasy. Oh dear. That's a bummer. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have a whole nice shrubbery happening for a Christmas tree. Like, I mean, but wow. Okay, yeah, another one from the Quarterling. I just pulled him up, but this is, he got, like, and I've already been pulling up. I have the full Elon Musk interview, but I think everyone's, like, sort of seen it by now. You know, I was on it live, so listening live, I was like, this is awesome. Just, oh god, this one's, he is so unhinged.
I will not stand up for this.
For other people having ideas that disagree with you? Are your ideas so fragile that you can't stand if someone disagrees with you? I'm serious.
I know, even if you're right and she's wrong, she has a right to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like,
If my ideas are
the
so...
Nazis have a right to speak when they are wrong and I am right.
If my ideas
when
are
they
so
rounded
bad... Hey,
people
stop
like
yelling.
me up and
Stop
threw
yelling.
us in concentration camps.
No,
Yes.
it's talking... Do not yell at me, sir. That's rude.
Okay, you need to go. You cannot call her sir.
Okay. I will walk in the room. My fire will stay up, and this is what will be happening.
No, that's a dude. That's a
Yes.
dude.
We don't want
You don't get to yell at me. That's not deserving of. My flyers can stay up. You don't get to yell at me for pieces of paper.
We don't want more people to go to the event because events like this spread hate. Whether or not you believe,
Okay.
I know that you don't want to spread hate.
Yes.
You particularly. But events like this will spread more hate, and it leads more trans people dying.
No, it doesn't. It just, oh my god. We need to end this cancel. We need to cancel culture. Like, yeah, sorry, that was a dude. This is like pretty sweet.
We're pretty sure this dad was surprised when he walked out of a courtroom and noticed his 2-year-old daughter asleep on the lap of a police officer. Officer Norris with the Orem Police Department in Utah was waiting to testify in a hearing when he noticed a dad in a bind. The father couldn't take his little girl into the courtroom with him and had nobody there to watch her. That's when Officer Norris offered to babysit. In court surveillance footage posted by the police, you can see the officer walking around with the top.
You can tell he...
water and treats from other deputies.
Yeah.
Police say that the cop pulled some cartoons up on his cell phone.
There we go. Let's just like, this will amuse you.
And later fell asleep there. The department wrote in a post that Officer Norris is a father first and police officer second.
Yeah, you can tell he like, see, I'm not opposed to kids having technology if it's supervised, you know, but and I hate pulling up the legacy media, but
Good evening, and thanks for joining us. We begin with yet another disturbing example
Yeah.
of our failing healthcare system. A 39-year-old woman says she is lucky to be alive after she was repeatedly sent home from the ER at Langley Memorial Hospital.
Of course
only to
it's-
later need urgent surgery. She also received a devastating diagnosis. CTV's Michelle Bernaro has the exclusive story and a warning. Some of the pictures are graphic.
Trista Manzik has spent the past week in hospital recovering from a surgery that left her with close to 40 staples in her head. But her fight to get help started back in November.
I was very sick. I was throwing up a lot, very nauseous. I had a lot of stomach pain. I was definitely dizzy. My vision was blurry.
She says for 3 days she went to Langley Memorial Hospital's emergency department hoping for help. 3 times she says she was sent home.
Our friend was with Trista, and she was crying to the hospital staff saying, please help, something's not right.
Desperate, she turned to Surrey Memorial. There she says she lay on the floor and emerged for more than 10 hours.
Yeah, so much pain. I was trying to sit down. I couldn't do it. I needed to lay down.
When she was finally seen by doctors, her dire condition started to become clear.
Nurse came on the phone, and the doctor as well, and they told me that she had a massive brain bleed, and she was being rushed to Royal Columbian for emergency surgery.
Manzik says a brain tumor the size of a golf ball was discovered. She has stage 4 cancer.
What I'm hearing is I'm going to probably be needing aggressive radiation and chemotherapy.
As she battles for her life, she's angry at what happened.
Definitely don't feel like I was treated like a person, more like an animal, just judged.
The family speaking out with the hope it will bring change.
It's just really frustrating, and I obviously don't want this to happen to other people, because I literally almost died.
It breaks my heart. It really frustrates me, because not only was she crying and begging for help, but family was too, and no one was listening.
The family intends to file a complaint with Fraser Health. They want to know why it took so long for her to get the help she desperately needed. Fraser Health tells CTV News that staff will connect directly with the patient. The concerns that you have brought forward regarding this patient's care experience are troubling, and we are looking into what happened. Manzik says her care at Royal Columbian has been good. She remains a patient there as doctors determine what's next. Michelle Bernoro, CTV News, New Westminster.
That's like that's an awful story, but our healthcare system was in trouble way before the pandemic. Way before it. Like, stories like, but then it's the more you wait, the worse things get, which also I apparently had an ultrasound scheduled, but my doctor didn't tell me where to go. I'm like, okay, well, at least we sorted it out. It's, sign up, get on the wait list for it, apparently I can just go right in, so I think. I don't know.
Died. Yeah, so in fact I actually posted about that because
this one's kind of nuts.
I called doctors in Wuhan and said, what are the biggest mistakes that you made on the first wave? This was early on. And they said, we put far too many people on intubated ventilators. So then I actually posted on Twitter at the time and said, hey, what I'm hearing from Wuhan is that they made a big mistake in putting people on intubated ventilators for an extended period. And that this is actually what is damaging the lungs, not COVID. It's the treatment. The cure is worse than the disease. And people yelled at me and said, I'm not a doctor. I'm like, yeah, but I do make spaceships with life support systems. Like little knobs. I'm like, okay, great.
Yeah, you kind of have to. Meanwhile, Bill Gates is like, I'm sure he likes playing doctor, but it's like Dr. Evil from like, how can we depopulate the planet? Man, it's like, can't even get Windows to work. What hell, like, does he have any business doing medicine? This one was nuts. A whistleblower on corporate mismanagement in the federal government's Green Tech Fund delivered explicit testimony to the Parliament Industry and Technologies Committee, claiming the industry minister, François-Philippe Champagne, lied to the Ethics Committee. Oh my God, someone in Canadian government lying to an ethics commission? Oh, this one was sad. I feel bad.
Meanwhile, closing Coney Island to make way for bigger and better concerts. It's news that's catching a lot of people off guard today. Coney and its huge sunlight swimming pool will soon be a thing of the past. WLWT News 5's Todd Dice is live outside the park with what's next for the popular destination. Todd?
It's almost...
Yeah, actually, in a little more than 2 years, the spot where Sunlight Pool is located will morph into a state-of-the-art music venue similar to Riverbend, which is nearby, only better. That is the word from Rosemary Mooring, Vice President of Marketing for MEMI, which stands for Music and Event Management, Inc. I talked to Mooring about 2 hours ago after Coney Island announced it will be closing when the Nights of Lights holiday display finishes its run on the last day of December. Mooring says MEMI has bought Coney Island's property and plans to build a kind of music campus designed to elevate Cincinnati's status as a top concert draw for musical acts of all kinds.
We hope to and plan to build a $118 million state-of-the-art.
I mean, it's an end of an era, but at the same
that
time,
will
I think
give us an entertainment
neighborhood
campus like none other that we know of in the United States right now. It'll allow us to utilize Riverbend Music Center where it stands right now, PNC Pavilion, as well as in addition to the new
all
venue,
the extra
we'll be able
spin-off
to
from
do
businesses,
bigger and better events
tourism,
like festivals
hotels,
down the road.
like, you know,
Now, the goal is for this new complex to be built and finished, ready to go to host those festivals and concerts by the spring of 2026. Moore declined to say how much MEMI paid to buy Coney Island. She did say she and her colleagues certainly appreciate the long history that Coney has had and what it means to so many families in our area, but they do hope the new music venue will help people create new and different kinds of memories well into the future.
we have to do
We're now
this
reporting
sometimes.
live,
Like,
Todd Dykes, WNWT.
you know, when you look at
tough
the
news
place
there,
and
Todd.
what
We
they're
know people
planning.
who love Sunlight Pool will be sad to hear the news today. What can season pass holders expect? I know a lot of people are getting those as Christmas gifts.
You're right, Ashley. It's a great point, and people have loved Sunlight Pool and all that Coney Island has to offer for so many years. And I will say that in a statement, Coney thanked its patrons for their loyalty, said they'll miss those smiles, but said that all 2024 season passes that have been bought so far will be fully refunded. So that could come in the form of either a credit to a credit card, or if you paid by a gift card or with cash, you get a check in the mail. Ashley?
There you go. No, it's happening. Coney Island, end of an era. I just pulled it up because you see it in movies and TV shows, you know. And here is the full. It's like 2 hours, hour and a half.
Public. They want a global tyranny so they can direct it and control it, so that they direct the expansion.
I'm gonna save that one till the end. Let's just see what else I had up, because this one's nuts. I think the Angels were working overtime on this dude, so if you have a little accident, they were watching this guy.
Concilio has more on the hiker's miraculous survival and how rescuers were able to find him.
After falling 1,000 feet, Ian Snyder knows just how fortunate he is to be here.
It's a miracle, first and foremost, of God.
The California visitor went missing
Oops,
after
Daisy.
from the treacherous Ko'olau Summit Trail.
Yeah.
That is one of the most difficult in the islands.
I couldn't believe it when people were telling me, like, you fell 1,000 feet down a cliff. I'm like, how did I even survive?
After
I don't know either.
Snyder met his rescuers from the fire department, emergency medical services, and
They're
hiking
like,
community
dude.
who helped pinpoint his location based on his social media posts.
But most importantly, a blessing for this.
Oh, the memes write themselves.
Snyder doesn't remember falling, but when he awoke, he had no idea how long he'd been there.
I guess that selfie was worth it.
Sorry.
I made sure I had a spot where I could get the water as I needed with my right hand, and I kind of just hunkered down from there, and time passed.
Snyder says he had a deep sense of calm because of his faith.
I made my peace with God. I said, "This is I know you. I know that Christ is Lord and He's my Savior, and
Amen.
I will be okay whether I live or whether I die."
Amen.
With his new lease on life, he plans to keep hiking and live to be the best he can, especially for his 3 children.
I don't know how this will be used instrumentally by God through my life, but I hope it will be.
If there's a witness, I don't know what is.
Snyder went on to say that he used Google Maps to make his trail plan, but then made a decision during the hike to take the more treacherous path. He also said he would not
stick
be
to your
hiking alone
path.
in Hawaii
Stick to
again.
the plan. You
Hello,
can
I'm
always
Mark
go
Brown.
back.
Get more great ABC7
Or
content by
update
clicking the
your,
subscribe button
you
for
know,
our
okay,
YouTube channel.
let
And
people
download
know,
the ABC7
because
Los
if
Angeles
you go
streaming
hiking
app on
alone,
Fire TV,
let people know
Android
where you're
TV,
going.
Apple TV, and
You don't want to
Roku
be that
to watch
person
on your
like,
TV.
okay, the search and rescue crew is, you know, definitely if you are doing hikes, let people know where you're going, what you're doing, you know, and also do not, if you deviate from your original plan, let people know. But I would recommend against doing that. You can always go back And I know some of these trips seem like once-in-a-lifetime opportunities, but you can always go back. You will be able to go back. You know, if you put it in your head that it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, then it will be. Quite literally, almost. In this case, almost. Like, this guy's lucky to be alive. But, you know, it's a good lesson in bush safety. And, I mean, if you, like, not everyone like me can always, like, have a hiking buddy. So sometimes you need, like, just let friends know where you are, where you're doing. That way if you get eaten by Bambi or a deer or, you know, a wolf or a bear or, you know, Tigger falls from a tree, they know where to look for the corpse. Sorry to put it like that, but... And I mean, like, even when I was doing my big bike trip this summer, which was nuts, I'm going to try a different one next year. Oh, no, I am this is also going to be a 40-kilometer bike trip. Because, you know, I know I'd have it in me, but this next one, I know what I need to bring, where I need to camp. It's going to be a lot. You know, and also, like, maybe get a few, like, stealth camping in. Like, find a property where I can just, like, practice camping out, but it's not, like, total woods. Like, I know the trail. It's actually only 8 kilometers. But you were going over trestles, and there were parts where you were in the bush, and it is cell phone dead signal. So, you know, you have to plan out, like, okay, you got dropped off at this point. You know you can walk and bike so far. So if you don't reach this destination by this point in time, something happened along the way. You know, and if nothing happened to you, great. You know, you had someone check on you, no problem. Like, or even like, you know, I think if I do this big trip in the spring and summer, I'm going to do the trip, but have someone meet me at the other end. You know, like, you know, or something. Because also, like, I should be able to. Like, it's only 8 kilometers. Like, I've mapped it out so many times. I should be able to do it. And Canada has... Sorry for my little tangent. I'm just so excited. I planned this trip for... And it's not like a fancy trip. Like to Vegas or Europe or, you know, Spa Island in Tofino. Like, it is just like, yeah, I'm going out to the bush and I'll be back in a few days. You can take the country girl out of the country, but you can't take her, you know, can't fully domesticate her. I just keep looking around my apartment like, oh man, a whole bunch of gun racks would look really awesome up there. Sorry. Yeah, that would be beautiful.
Is not moving
I
the
should
country
do
in
that.
the direction most Canadians
but do like
would
fake
like.
guns, like
Here are
actually
some ways
carve them
that
out.
Canadians feel their prime
Because I
minister,
remember the
Justin
ones from
Trudeau,
childhood,
is
and
dragging
some of
the
these
country in
ones
the
had
wrong
like
direction.
gold coins
Number
in
one,
them and stuff.
he is
like,
not effectively tackling
they were
the
fancy,
inflation problem.
yeah.
Canada's rising inflation rate is at a worrying plus 7%, and it is a figure that represents Canada's worst inflation record for over 3 decades. This inflation problem has plunged a sizable portion of the Canadian population into a massive cost of living crisis that many analysts feel will be the government's major undoing in the next election.
Oh, you figure?
The costs of transportation, energy, and housing seem to be most affected by the rising inflation.
Oh,
while
it's only going to get
food
worse,
prices
folks.
in
It's
recent
only
times
going to get
threaten
worse.
to take center stage as well. Since the buck always stops at the table of the country's highest office, Trudeau is feeling the heat of public criticism. Admittedly, the particularly high price of gasoline has been linked to the Ukraine war, while the country, like most others worldwide, is still feeling the aftershocks of the COVID
It's
pandemic.
just too bad Canada
Yet, the
doesn't
sheer
have
weight
any
of the
oil
mortgage,
reserves.
gas, and foodstuffs prices has
Like,
left the people
I
tackling
don't know,
the
like,
country's leaders
we
of
don't have oil, we
mismanaging
have
the
to import
economy.
it.
Number 2, rising dissatisfaction among the Indigenous population.
Yeah.
The initial test faced by the Trudeau government was the deeply concerning surge in suicide attempts, primarily among First Nations individuals. The most shocking instance occurred in April 2016, when a distressing 11 suicide attempts were documented in a single day, all involving young members of the Attawapiskat community in Northern Ontario. These attempts directly resulted from the challenges and hardships that Canada's Indigenous people endured, leading to a complete loss of faith in the system. Between September 2nd and the middle of 2016, the rate of suicide in this region saw a troubling 100% increase. Before the heartbreaking Attawapiskat incident, a small Manitoba town known as Pimachikamak had already witnessed 6 tragic suicides and numerous suicide attempts.
Like, see,
This was a
it's
devastating
like I saw a
situation
lot
where
during
suicide
the
had become the
pandemic
leading cause of death
with
among
kids.
Canada's Indigenous or
Just
First
in my
Nations
church
people.
group, like
Young
kids were,
individuals from
I
these
hate to say it,
communities
dropping
faced a
like
significantly
flies.
higher risk
Some
of
are cancer,
experiencing
some are
this
suicide. It
than
was like,
non-Indigenous Canadians.
you
In
know,
a critical
it's like
response to
a
this
third of them are
national
still alive
epidemic,
and doing well.
Justin Trudeau took action in June
Or
by
I hope Mary
allocating a
is,
substantial
you know.
$69 million for mental health care. This
I
dedicated
worry
funding
about
was
some of those
vital
little
to
ones,
easing
but
their
what
suffering
can you
and
do? They're not
reducing
your
the
kids,
alarming
you
death
know?
toll. The government's commitment to
Like a
addressing
mama
mental
bird,
health
you,
issues within these
they,
communities
you
marked
push
a
them out of
crucial
the nest,
stride toward providing
and I'm
support
sorry,
and
Haley,
hope
and everyone,
to those who
but
needed
damn.
it most.
So I'm
Number
not
3.
always on that stream.
He is being
My other
accused of
stream.
not properly addressing the housing crisis.
No, he just
Beyond
made
the
it worse.
increasing suicide rate over the past 8 years, the Trudeau
Oh,
administration's
see,
influence
suicide,
has extended
that's something
to
that's
Canada's
cross,
real estate
like,
sector.
racial
As the
in
world's
Canada,
second-largest
because,
country, Canada
and we
is
have
expected to
Maine
provide its
now. It's
citizens
so
with abundant
convenient.
opportunities for housing and land ownership.
You don't even like need
However,
to feel
despite the
embarrassed
vast
about your
stretches of
depression. You
available
can just
land,
go
there
to
has
the
been an
government and they'll
astonishing
take care of it
surge
for you.
over 100% in housing prices nationwide. The cost of owning a home in Canada has reached an all-time high, creating a significant barrier to entry for many individuals and families. The rental market, too, has seen prices soar, and there's little indication of this trend slowing down. This dire situation poses difficult prospects for those seeking affordable housing options, as finding suitable and reasonably priced accommodations becomes increasingly difficult, thus amplifying the struggle for many Canadians. This real estate problem has sparked concerns and become a focal point for public discourse in the country, emphasizing the need for viable solutions to address the housing affordability crisis. Canadians hold differing opinions about who should be responsible for this housing crisis, although most feel the Prime
I
Minister
think it's
must
this man.
tackle the
I think
problem.
it's this dude.
The feeling is that
Yeah, I
Canada's
think it's
rising
Trudeau.
immigrant
Like,
population,
I really,
which international students
if we're
mostly
gonna,
dominate, is putting undue pressure on the already struggling housing sector.
They actually
Governments at all levels need to take a
have such a
collaborative approach
small
to tackle the problem and not
impact.
leave the responsibility to a
you
struggling
would
municipal
be
government.
better off saying the
Overwhelming
Airbnbs
consensus
make a
is that
bigger
the government
impact
led by
on
Trudeau
short,
needs
like
to take affirmative
long-term,
action and
small
stop avoiding the
income
responsibility
rentals
of
than
facing this housing
the international
challenge.
students.
Trudeau has faced criticism from the public
import a lot,
and the opposition for saying that housing is not a primary federal responsibility.
Yeah, he did.
Prime Minister Trudeau has also suffered backlash from major backer and New Democratic Party NDP leader Jagmeet Singh.
Oh, no. Jag is so far up his ass. It's like he might as well be a
strongly that the government should take responsibility
every
for the
time
housing
he like
as
does anything, it's like he might as well be giving Trudeau a colonoscopy.
Yeah. Indian population.
Oh,
the
yeah,
Mr.
Versace.
Will be to increase housing subsidies, reduce mortgage and interest costs, take on more government-funded constructions, and most importantly, show political willpower
and Drunken
to address
Lizzie.
the problem.
They have like Lizzie in the middle. Oh,
Number 4,
she's awful.
He is facing accusations of multiple ethics breaches. Since assuming office, Justin Trudeau
he was
has been
facing
plagued
them
by a
before
string
he
of
went
ethics
to
breaches
office.
that seem to cast a shadow on his public image and governance style.
this man was corrupt before
His
he
multiple
even
conflict of
got in
interest
there.
clashes have come to the fore more times than he would have liked to, and this has led many Canadians to question his moral leadership and the way he runs the government.
Yeah, figure.
One of
we're
Trudeau's
kind
most
of fed up.
notable ethics cases is the controversial SNC-Lavalin scandal that has left a trail of disturbing revelations, resignations, and public disapproval.
We're all fed
The
up.
Prime Minister is accused of using
I
his
don't think
office
that's a bad
to
thing
pressure
to
the
say
former
as
Attorney
Canadians.
General Jody Wilson-Raybould to influence the corruption case against the Montreal-based engineering firm SNC-Lavalin, accused of illicit financial dealings with the Libyan government between 2001 and 2011. The scandal counts other casualties in terms of resignation. Jerry Rice, a close and long-standing
We'll
friend
get to
of
you.
Justin Trudeau, held the position
That one's
of the
actually a
former
good one.
principal secretary in the Trudeau administration.
Yeah.
His tenure in this role ended abruptly amidst the SNC-Lavalin
Isn't
corruption
this
scandal.
like? I mean,
this
you
incident has
can't
had
even
lasting
write this
repercussions
shit.
on his
It's
personal
just so
and professional
bad.
life. The controversy surrounding the scandal led to his resignation, and it remains a vital chapter in his life's journey, highlighting the complexities and challenges faced by individuals in high-profile political positions. In 2020, it was the turn of the WE Charity scandal to stir fresh concerns about Trudeau's moral integrity. The WE Charity won a nearly multi-billion-dollar government contract to float a student grant program. But this contract would later spark allegations of nepotism and cronyism in the highest office.
Did.
News spread of the
No
charity's ties
students
to the
were-
Prime Minister,
yeah.
along with the multiple payments to his family
back when
members,
him and
and
Sophie
another
were
cloud of
together
corruption
and she
disregard
wasn't all
for political rule inevitably
into
hovered
yoga
on the horizon for
and
Trudeau.
foreign individuals.
Bill Morneau served as the finance
I
minister
can't
in
blame
Justin
her, I
Trudeau's
mean-
government, and found himself at the center of the controversy during the WE Charity scandal in 2020.
If your husband was
The
gay,
situation
you'd want a
revealed
little,
significant issue,
Nicky
as it
on the
appeared
side
that
as
many
well.
members of the Trudeau family had closties to the charity. This raised concerns about possible favoritism
also
and
she
led
got
to a
rich
web
off
of
it.
accusations.
So did his mom,
in an
so did
attempt to
he,
navigate this challenging
they're
situation,
corrupt. Like,
Morneau implemented
they've been
various
grifting
measures
off
to
of
address the
Canada
However, the
since the
controversy ultimately
1960s.
cast a shadow on his tenure as finance minister. Other incidents that have brought up conflict of interest and morality questions include Trudeau's infamous Aga Khan exotic holiday vacation and,
Yeah,
most
this was
recently,
probably
the
a big
Onion report
mistake on
that
his
accuses
part,
his
don't you
minister,
think?
Mary Ung,
Like,
of favoring her friend in awarding
yeah,
the
this
near
is another one.
$23,000
Oh yeah, that
contract.
was like.
These scandals and
Yeah.
the 5 ethics violation charges that have followed them swiftly have raised questions about the Canadian government's transparency, accountability.
I think
and
everyone's
integrity.
confused right
It is
now
a
about
reminder
like
that
what's
decisions
going
and
on.
actions taken by public officials can have a lasting
But
impact
it's not going to
on the
make any
trust and
difference. Like, we can
confidence
make
of the
all the
Canadian
videos we
people in
want,
their
sign all the
democracy.
petitions. Like,
Number
Brian
5,
Lilly
he is facing a
maybe is
government
right. Like,
spending
it's
and
not going to make
budget
a lick of
deficit
difference.
problem.
Because he's
Over
already,
the
like,
past few
tanked
years,
our country.
Trudeau's administration has been accused
His
of
family's
fiscal
gotten
indiscipline due to a perceived overspending problem and a more apparent budget problem. Trudeau's government is
the
said
Wicked
to have
Witch of the West,
borrowed its way out of the COVID-19
whatever.
pandemic.
There
while
aren't
funding a
enough
string of
houses for
stimulus
Freeland
packages,
to be
and the
dropped
country's
on.
reserves are feeling the weight of
And
this
I feel
spending
bad. She's an
more
Alberta
recently.
girl. I usually stick
Prime
by
Minister
them,
Justin
but oh
Trudeau
my
has
god,
also
like
been
she is
tackled
just
because
the
of his
worst.
continued spending on energy, which has collectively led to a growing budget
Because
deficit
Canada
that many
doesn't
say
have any
threatens to
oil.
mortgage
I'm
the
sorry,
country's
we
future.
don't have any oil.
While the last
Pipelines,
budget deficit
unfortunately,
amounted to
cannot run
$43
east.
billion in the
We
previous
have to
fiscal
import
year.
it.
The next one is
From
expected to peak at $40 billion in the
countries
fiscal year
that
23 to
do
24.
all
The
these
cost of
people who
servicing
are
this
like,
deficit
oh,
and the
I want that
accompanying
rainbow
debt
flag.
burden
It's
will
like,
pose severe implications
but I don't
in
want
terms of
oil.
the
It's
cost
like,
of living
well,
for many
then
Canadians.
you're buying
And
from
this is a
Saudi
problem
who
that
don't
the
like the
government
gays.
must address
How is
soon.
this working for you?
Number 6.
It's common sense hard.
He is accused of harming the country's foreign relations.
You figure.
Although
Oh
most
my god, no.
Canadians worry
No,
more
no,
about
no.
issues
He's
that
been
hit
the
closer
best
home,
diplomat.
Others question the country's international
Look
relations
at how
affairs.
he's sitting
Over the
and
years, Trudeau has faced criticism of the country's
no, I'm
handling
gonna
or
run that
interference
back
of
a bit.
affairs in
No,
Israel,
I
Venezuela,
gotta
and
like
a few other countries.
I gotta run this back. No, this is like, okay, you want to talk about body language?
And this is a problem that the government must address.
Like, let's look at this.
Number 6.
See
He
how
is accused of
Trudeau
harming
is sitting and how
country's
Putin
foreign
is sitting.
relations. Although most Canadians
Or,
worry
you
more
know,
about
he's
issues
just
that hit
like,
closer home,
whatever.
others
And
question
Trudeau
the
is
country's
like,
international relations affairs. Over the years, Trudeau has faced criticism of the
Like,
country's
I'm
handling
sorry,
or
chicks sit like
interference
that, like-
of affairs in Israel, Venezuela, and a few other
God, yeah,
countries.
we're bad. We're bad people.
Canada's inadequate contributions
Yeah.
to the NATO fund have
Yeah,
also
we
drawn
kind of just
attention lately.
we're like that.
And
We'll
there
get
are
around
concerns
to it.
back home that
I
the
don't
country
know.
is dealing with
We're
a
really
weakened
happy to be
military
part of
capacity
NATO, but we
in
don't really
terms of
care.
staffing, funding,
We're like the Gen Zs of,
Most recently,
NATO.
Trudeau
Like,
stirred a
it's
fresh diplomatic row with India
Like, what do you
after
even do
accusing
here?
its officials of killing a Sikh separatist leader and India labeled terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar
yeah, who
on
was also
Canadian
a
soil around
gangster.
June
A
2023.
gangster. I'm from the West Coast, so
This
he was
accusation
actually a
triggered
gangster.
India's Prime Minister Narendra
He was
Modi
probably gonna get
and
taken
threatened all
out for
previous
some
progress
other
in bilateral
reason.
trade between countries.
I'm not
These
scared
are
to
just
say
a
that.
few
Like,
of the many
everyone knows
concerns that have
here.
been
It was like,
popularized in relation
everyone's
to
like,
Canada's
this is
public
dumb.
image.
Don't piss
Justin
off
Trudeau
India.
is
Like,
accused of
this
over-relying
wasn't
on their
like.
neighbors, USA, and not faring
Oh,
well
yeah, don't
on the
piss off
larger
USA
international
either.
front.
Yeah,
Number
we're kind of.
7. He is accused of promoting a woke agenda.
Oh, he absolutely
Trudeau's
does.
government has continuously polarized opinions
Yeah.
with his promotion of more liberal policies that have often been interpreted as excessive
Did I just get a
wokeism in some
strike?
parts. While many see his forward-thinking and liberal approach
No, I
to
can hear
issues
it.
as
Something
modernist and
changed.
progressive, others say he is guilty of pushing for an anything-goes Canada that may eventually haunt him.
Something's.
The most
There's a
prominent
disturbance in the floors.
is the recent decriminalization of hard drug possession.
I know, BC is a fucking mess because of this.
Euthanasia policy.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like we got free. You can kill yourself with drugs, or if you don't want to do it that way, you can do it with the government.
And herein lies the challenge.
You know.
While conservative leaders are particularly interested in the country's lax gun laws and a recent push to introduce gender-neutral school uniforms, the problems are even more profound. Trudeau's often excessively
Oh, thank
progressive
God, I'm
ideas
still
will
alive.
only sometimes be well received by the public.
No, don't do that.
And many feel that the country has a bigger fish to fry elsewhere. The fallout from the country's rising inflation has reverberated in the
Yeah.
housing sector.
We are tanking the rest of the world because of his bad policies. And Freeland, I'm sorry, budgets don't balance themselves.
The general feeling is that Trudeau needs to lead the country in the right direction, and that a loss at the next elections is imminent if something drastic.
No, it's like
This wraps up
he
our
better
view
call an
on the
election
latest
or
episode
we're
of
gonna
our
fucking
highly
burn down
engaging
Parliament.
series,
And I
People's
do
Journal,
not say
where we
that
discuss
because I
the
know
most important
I am
stories
probably on so many watch lists.
Do well to like this
But
video
it
and
just
subscribe
people
to
are
our
fed
channel
up.
to
Like
enjoy more exciting videos.
You
like
know,
this
especially
from
going
us.
into Christmas, and people are like, I'm hearing from so many people, well, you know, the adults don't need to get each other presents. We're going to save it for the kids and the food. And, you know, if the kids, like, you know, they can, you know, when you're having people like, well, like, I know, like, seeing the toy donation at Uptown by my, you know, these are families who I just want one or two gifts for the kids. That's all, you know. It's about family this time of year, and you know, it just. Meanwhile, you're seeing like, what do you think Trudeau's house is gonna look like at Christmas? Like, okay, if it was at 24 Sussex, I can imagine, and I keep saying this, I can imagine he had a lot of bad memories from childhood living there. I can see why, but maybe if you're so fucking mental and triggered, you shouldn't be a prime minister if you can't live in the House of Residence. What, like, remembering, like, parts playing with your brother, like, before you killed him? I don't know. Sorry, did I say that? Oh, this chick, I am so glad this chick is not teaching. If she quit,
I have been in
thank
the position
fucking
to
God.
dead name and misgender students for the last few months or whatever since I started working at my current school corporation. And today was the day that I resigned. I was called in and they said they had a meeting with the superintendent or assistant superintendent and the school lawyer, and that while they are here, while the students are with us, we are acting in loco parento, which apparently means that we are acting in place of the parents. And so therefore, we have to abide by parent wishes. Because of this, I have resigned. I will not be put in a position to feel like I'm going against my own community. And
I'm part of her community, and I think she can go
Somebody
fuck
said, my
herself.
wife is a teacher, and this is
That
actually
is
her
so
solution to the entire
creepy.
issue. Every time a
That
student
is
says
so
pronoun
damn
stuff, she
creepy.
just
Like,
asks
you
what
don't-
their parents call them. Easy day. Your 10-year-old's political stance is no longer her problem. She just does what the parents want.
These are
why is that
kids.
controversial?
Okay, when I was 10, let's just pull this up. When I was 10, you know what my biggest wish was? One of the hoverboards from Back to the Future. That's what I really wished for when I was 10. One of those hoverboards from Back to the Future. Yeah, so, should I get special treatment in a classroom? Or should say there's an adult that also likes hoverboards. Should they be my special friend without my parental consent because of my political views about hoverboards? I am so glad this bitch got fired. I'm sorry. I cannot, like, every time I watch one of these videos, I'm like, homeschool, like, I don't have kids, but I would not let people like this around my kid. And if I found out that, like, say a friend's kid was, you know, having to deal with something like this, and let's just say, like, if a mama bear did whatever she wanted, I would stand beside her with, you know, whatever means possible. And at least this person just resigned. Just saying, I mean, we cannot keep allowing, like, these are 10-year-olds. 10-year-olds do not have political beliefs. Like, my political beliefs when I was 10-year-old were, apart from the hoverboards, I really still like cartoons. I mean, I still like cartoons, obviously, but, you know, I still had that sort of idea Santa might be real. You know, I knew it wasn't, but you kind of still wished. Like, having all these weird, creepy people, and usually there are women, but some are dudes dressed up as women, so I'm really confused what a woman is anymore. But just like, why are you, like, you're a teacher, you're supposed to be teaching, like, I do sewing, I do art. I pull up a clip where there is an art teacher on the comment section saying, like, I can't even do my job because kids cannot follow simple instructions or actual read. She said that like 45% of her class could not even read at the basic level for... But hey, I bet they use their correct pronouns. I just don't get it. Like, why is that important? Like, I find her creepy. I would not... Oh god, this one was hilarious.
This is Appalling News. I'm Paul Chano. We are in the middle of an epidemic.
Speaking to
an epidemic of dumb young things. Not only are they dumb, they are happy to tell the world just how dumb they are on video. Appalling News does not make up the news. We just report it. This dumb young thing went to Italy.
I'm sorry, you went to Italy. What the fuck did you expect?
So let me just come and say something real quick, because I don't talk on TikTok.
Like, what do you say to even someone like
I'm
this?
in Italy right now, and I was on live just before, like, if you guys watched my live, I was on live talking about how Italy is so racist. So I was saying how they don't like black people here because they don't. Like, everyone is literally white here, or like Italian.
No, I think it's because she's a bitch. If she came to Canada, we'd treat her the same way. If she went to, like...
Or like Italian, yes.
If she went to the blackest parts of the States, they would treat her like the bitch she is. I'm sorry, you are...
In the process of booking your trip, arriving, and getting
like, what did you think would happen in Italia?
No time did you suspect
oh my goodness.
that you were in Italy. I can see why you would have been shocked. Much like Patrick McGowan in The Prisoner, where he got gassed in his flat and then mysteriously ended up in the village. Based on your accent, I would hazard a guess that you are visiting from the UK, perhaps London? London is a very multi-ethnic city, much like my city, Toronto. And while there are many Italians in Toronto, I would go to Italy for the express reason that I wanted to visit a place that wasn't Toronto. We call that a vacation. This young thing is disappointed that this strange country is not...
Yes,
like
anyone would want to visit anywhere but Toronto.
And it's 100% fact, because when you come here and you're a black person, they literally look at you like you're a weirdo.
So, it's clear that this young thing has been infected by the critical race theory virus. This causes a debilitating sickness among people of color who contract it. The symptoms include, if a white person does not notice you or acknowledges your existence, they are being racist. If a white person does notice you, it's because they are being racist.
Yeah, I know.
The only known cure for this is to get a life.
Like, the people here are very much racist, and you can come for me if you want, but I'm not gonna lie, they secretly hate black people in Italy. They hate everyone who's not their race.
So far, she's mentioned racist and race several times, but has not provided any examples of how
And
this
I love that she
racism
has a British
manifested
accent.
itself.
Like,
And how
she
does
has
she
no
know
idea how
that
entitled
Italians
this
secretly
whole bitch is.
hate black people? Does she have a race-dar detector? Italians are a very accommodating people.
Yeah.
All you need to do is attempt to speak in a
Have-
terrible broken
yeah.
Italian, and they
And if
will
you
whisk you home to
cannot-
have dinner with the family and meet their
Yeah.
nonna.
No, no, you mangia, you come and you eat.
Isn't
No.
that the reason to
I
go
think they just
on
didn't like
vacation
her.
to
I wouldn't
another
like
place
her. She
for
doesn't
the
seem like a
express
nice person.
Purpose that you want to be treated differently.
Like,
that
she.
you want to
I'm from the
experience
UK
a
and I'm
culture
so
that is
special.
not yours. That
Oh my
you
God,
want to
I'm so
understand
posh.
the
You pay
full
attention
and
to me.
rich nature
Me,
of the
me,
world.
me. It's all about me.
Perhaps
Why aren't you paying
she's
attention
mad
to me?
She couldn't find a fish and chips joint.
But that's all I'm saying. Like Italy,
She
if
couldn't-
you're black, makes
you-
you prepared to come here.
I have no
I
idea
know.
what that meant.
I know exactly.
Be prepared for what? This young thing is very bad at explaining why. I
She
get the
is
feeling that
like she went
she
to
made
Italy.
absolutely no preparations to
No
go
idea
to a
what she
country
was doing.
that didn't
No
speak
idea
her
about the
language
culture,
or
and then
didn't
all of a
expect
sudden
it. Not
insults
that
the fuck
there
out of
aren't
them.
plenty
Like
of
that is
guides
just
and
rude.
citizens in Italy
I
who
like you do
speak
not do that.
I don't deny that there would have been a culture shock.
Oh, I
Italians
bet
use
because
their
she's
horns
not being
instead
treated
of
like
their
a
brains.
spoiled little
They
cunt.
use their hands like
To
sometimes.
use a British term.
Maybe the Italians were reacting to her Christian Dior camera strap. Perhaps she should have switched it out for a Giorgio Armani or Versace. Italy has been visited by more shades than in your makeup palette. She's clearly an uptight person and was not prepared.
No,
for
she
the trip.
wasn't. She
I would suggest that
expected.
next
She
time
got.
she ventures
She's a
beyond
spoiled
the
brat.
white cliffs of Dover that she
And
go
she
with
got.
a friend who knows
Oh my
the language
God! I
and
cannot
customs.
believe these smeggy.
I don't understand.
Oh,
how
these
young
awful
things recording
Italians!
themselves, but
I'm in
from
Italy,
my
and they
perspective,
just
please
are not.
Don't stop.
They do not
This
speak
has been
English, and they do
a
not
Polly Muse,
respect like
and that's the way it
my
is.
beauty because I am obviously a princess. I love clips like that just because I just don't understand some people. Like, this one was like,
my personal
wow.
feeling is that there's a big difference between Fantasyland.
This
and reality.
one was
Fantasyland
like one
is
of
what we
those
do.
mic drop
It's like
moments.
You're writing something, writing a song, writing a book, doing a movie, doing a television show. That's Fantasyland, and that's where that stuff belongs. In reality, when we're dealing with things like terrorism and whatnot, we're all going to have different opinions on how to do it and how to deal with it.
Yeah.
Mine happens to be that I think there's a very strong reason Founding Fathers had for the Second Amendment.
Amen.
And that is that no government ever hasn't had to fight its own people. And its own people
Hallelujah!
hasn't had to fight
He's still a beautiful
its own
man.
government. We had our Civil War. If that Second Amendment hadn't been there, those people would not have had the opportunity to do what they consider.
And you can just tell the cows in the view are just like.
So I agree with that. I think that's an important part of our existence.
Sorry, I just like that's like. I only hope half of them believe in the second. Yeah, because this is what's actually going on in Canada.
Not just offering, but mandated to have.
We don't get
this is
guns,
called
but we get
feminine
tampons.
hygiene
It's
products anymore.
for men. Women don't
menstruation kits
get free
in
tampons,
public
but men do.
washrooms in all federal buildings, actually.
Let this
We're talking
sink in.
about
This is
man
actually not a meme. This is how pathetic my country is.
That's right. This is now part of the Labor Code of Canada.
I know it.
In all federal buildings, a news release talking about
Like, are you fucking
as
kidding
of
me?
December 15th, it is now Canadian law, Canadian Labor Code, to ensure access to menstrual products at work starting December 15th. Yeah, that's right. All areas accessible to all people need to have these products in them. Well, what does this come down to? It comes down to the men's washroom. This is really, that's all this really is. Pushing into the men's washroom with this stuff here. Now, this is an article from actually quite a while ago. It's from all the way back in May 10th when they made the announcement, and now it's actually coming into play. This is really funny. Free menstrual products will be available at federal workplaces later this year. That's right, ladies and gents. You can go in, well, gents, get on in there and get your menstrual hygiene products. Employees in federally regulated workspaces will begin to have free access to menstrual products later this year. The federal government made the announcement Wednesday saying that starting December 15th, 2023, employers will be required to make menstrual products available at no cost to public servants. You guys out in the private sector, you're gonna have to buy your own man-pons out there. This means putting pads and tampons in washrooms or other places so that workers who need them while on the job have access. Employment and Social Development Canada said in a news release, tampons and pads are basic necessities, so we're making sure they're provided to workers at no cost because it'll make for healthier and safer workplaces, said Labour Minister Seamus O'Regan Jr. He said that in a statement. Now, what is this? The answer is no, putting this out on X. A new post saying, has any politician in history talked more often and more passionately about tampons and pads than Shameless O'Regan? The answer is no. The answer is no. That's all they tweet about is things where the answer would be no. Now, this face of Chrystia Freeland was making its rounds around the internet today because of a recent ad. I'm going to show you the ad later. But caption this. I put my own caption on this. That face men make when they try out the new free product line in federal building toilets. Yeah, that's right. That's right. You'd be making that face too, wouldn't you? Now, here's Michelle Ferrari. I'm sorry if I'm giggling through the whole thing.
I know, but it's so dumb.
It's silly. You can comment in the comments.
I can't help it. Like, I'm sorry. It is like the dumbest
Michelle Ferrari
thing.
Talking about just the wasteful spending. This is just adding to all the wasteful spending.
Exactly.
Because these products are not
when you break down the numbers on giving men pads and tampons.
Now, I'm going to take you on a little tour today, and I'm going to show you something that
I don't
think
get
is
it.
going to astound you. When we talk about wasteful spending and a cost of living crisis that is created because of wasteful spending, I'm going to tell you something. The average income of a Canadian is around $65,000. That's according to online sources that we've sourced.
Right.
The average income of a federally regulated employee is $70,000. Now, period poverty is
way
a
more
very
than
real thing, and we have
their
the
average
highest food
Canadian.
bank usage in history. Meaning people who can't afford food also can't afford period products. So you will see many often period products in food banks, which makes total sense. But what if I told you the Liberal NDP government is mandating that period products be available in all federally regulated workspaces? So for people who have an average income of $70,000, they are going to have access to period products. Shouldn't that be going to people who can't afford them? Dylan is from my office. Dylan, we're going to go to the men's bathroom here in a federally regulated building. You're going to give a little check for me, make sure there's no one in there. That's good. Okay, we're good. Come on in. So this is the men's bathroom. And I want to show you what has been put in the bathroom.
Oh, boy.
That is period products for federally regulated employees. I can't stress enough to you how out of touch this is. In a cost of living crisis when people who can't afford to eat, they can't afford to buy these things. But again, the Liberal NDP government is prioritizing their own needs over the people who are most vulnerable and hurt by their policies that is driving up the cost of living.
Yeah.
This is not common sense. I hope you share this video. And you know what? I might
sharing
just take
it right
a couple
now.
of these myself and walk them down to the Ottawa Food Bank where they would be best used, not here.
Absolutely. Send those down there. But this is actually upsetting people, obviously. Upsetting Michelle here while she's talking about and just the frivolous spending that the Liberals. I mean, here we are. We're talking about people not having enough money to make ends meet, and they're throwing money around at these frivolous. I mean, how much are they spending extra on these things?
Dumb,
You know, because when
okay?
government
So
buys
dumb.
something, they don't buy it at the same price that Canadians do. I've never seen Brian Lilly actually worked up this much about anything, and this is his statement.
Well, he is a
Female-identified, male-identified, and gender
Oh, did I say that out loud about
will need to have
Brian
menstrual products.
Lilly? Oh.
Unrestricted access to menstrual products better protects.
But
menstruating
women still have to
employees
pay for them.
and make sure that they
Men
feel
get
safe
them for free,
toilet paper
but
best
women
reflects
have to
all
pay
that
for them.
Right?
Menstruating employees. They don't even use the term women. Now, how many people who menstruate no longer
hate
identify
Brian
as women?
Lilly,
It's got to
but
be a
at least
minuscule
he got
amount.
something
But this
right
is my
for once.
ongoing issue with this. We are eliminating the word women. We are eliminating the language that identifies women as being distinct from men from our language, all because of an attempt to be politically correct when it comes to transgender issues. You can be respectful.
Look how restrained he is. He's trying to be nice. He's really trying to be nice.
Well, I don't
This is getting
blame
so
him.
ridiculous.
I'm pissed off as
People
well.
who are transgender. You can be respectful of what they are going through. You can not diminish them in any way, shape, or form without diminishing women. It doesn't have to do that. But what we are doing is diminishing women. Menstruating employees, women or people who are pregnant, people who menstruate. These are terms that are now being used for words that we just used to say women.
That's right.
This is absolutely bonkers. But this is the focus of the Trudeau government. We've got food affordability crisis. We've got a housing affordability crisis. We've got immigration outpacing the ability to build new housing, driving up housing prices even higher. We've got a military that doesn't have what they need, but we've got to make sure
They got their tampons.
they've got man-pons available.
Man-pods.
Does any of this make sense to you? Because it doesn't to me, and it doesn't to most Canadians, even the most progressive Canadians I know. But it is the priority of the Trudeau government.
That's the thing, too, because there are so many people that are pretty progressive out there, and then they see this and go, what? Are you crazy? But this is the thing about the Trudeau government. They don't want to take responsibility for what it is that they're doing, and they want to just keep going with these pet projects instead of talking about the things that actually matter. Here's an example. This is actually an ad from the Liberal Party. This is what they have to say here.
He'd rather spread falsehood about faraway foreign lands, Mr. Speaker.
The Conservative leader inadvertently
There was that
showed
face.
his true colors a moment ago. He couldn't bring himself to say the word Ukraine, so instead he dismissively called it a faraway land.
And then she goes and compares him to some other bad guy. Anyway, how do you know he was even talking about Ukraine? He could have been talking about Israel. There's a conflict going on over there too. But her main focus is
Sorry,
on
I'm talking
Ukraine.
to my trees.
Ukraine first. Let's send all our money there while we're all poor over here. It's unbelievable that this is the government that we have. We are in a crisis. We are in several crises in Canada right now, and we need to focus on Canada. But this is the kind of thing, and this is the rhetoric of their fanboys. You see from their fanboys online. I talk about the carbon tax election that's coming up. And what do you see here? You have roughly half of households within this income category see a net gain of between $20 and $40 per month, about 4% a net gain of $70 per month or more. This is talking about the kickback that they get. The other end of the spectrum is only about 55% of households with incomes above $250,000 receive more in rebates than they pay in costs. According to the data, roughly half of the households in this income category see somewhere between a net loss of $20 per month and a net gain of $30 per month. About 5% see a net loss of $100 per month or more. See, here's the thing. It's talking about carbon tax, and this is the Liberal talking points, and they actually believe this stuff, but they won't look outside of that paradigm. This is talking about people who are paying on home heating and gasoline. Home heating and gasoline, that's making an assumption on how much they actually spend on those two things. That's just a complete assumption, but then it forgets a main driver here. This ignores the rising cost of transportation and manufacture of all goods that this carbon tax will affect. These people will be buying these items. Costs are rising higher than $20 to $30 per month, And this is on top of the already high inflation and is directly caused by this tax. It is incredible how high the prices are going of goods, and then we're taxing them on top of that before it even gets to the consumer. You know that this is just going to get passed on to the consumer, and this is what our liberal government is doing. Tax, 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 and then when they can't tax you, they're going to mandate you to get some feminine hygiene products. Sorry, I can't say feminine anymore.
No, I know. We're not allowed to say women. We
and
can't
put it
say
in
the W
the men's
word.
washer. That's where we are, Canada. Leave a comment in the comment section down below and let me know what you think. This is absolutely ridiculous. And anyway, we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trying.
I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't understand it either. I find it very disturbing. Like, I mean, but like for our military to put bullets below tampons, you know, oh no, you're overseas, you gotta buy your own uniform, armor, like whatever you want. You go hard, but you won't get it reimbursed on your paycheck, and you gotta buy your own shit. We don't supply that in the Canadian military, but we will give you tampons. Which I guess if you get shot, you can like stick it in the bullet wound. Better get the thick ones though. You know, like, are you kidding me? This is ridiculous. Like, I cannot believe this is Canada's priorities. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, oh God, yeah.
But the clown show doesn't end just there, because the CBC CEO went on to CBC to answer some questions, and shout out to this journalist, she actually owned Catherine Tate here. Watch this.
The information request showed $16 million were paid in bonuses in 2022. Can we establish that that is not happening this year?
It's too early to say where we are for this year. We'll be looking at that like we do all our line items in the coming months.
So there's a chance bonuses could still happen at a time when jobs are being cut?
I'm not going to comment on something that hasn't been discussed at this point. So,
okay.
Wow, eh? Oh, the level of suck just keeps getting deeper and deeper. Oh yeah, this was nuts.
The Jax Films versus Sniper Wolf saga has taken a dark turn.
This is actually pretty nuts.
Are you sure you're okay with this? Are you absolutely sure?
Like, YouTube is weird.
You know, maybe you should react to
Twitch is weird. X, thank you for just being
real
yourself.
World criminality.
No, I love you all. I love all my audiences, but oh my God, like
the
all
public
this
is outraged,
is so weird
causing
sometimes.
thousands of fans to unsubscribe amidst the backlash. A petition to deplatform the creator has almost reached its goal, and past drama resurfaces, revealing Sniper Wolf's questionable behavior.
Come on, let's do it.
When a feud verges on dangerous grounds.
A huge story has been developing over the last, I don't know, like 2 hours or something.
At what point is it too far?
This dude is just like low-key harassing me. Like, should I get a restraining order?
Let's unravel the feud gone wrong.
This is irresponsible at best and flat out dangerous at worst.
Oh my God,
It was just over a year ago now that Sniper Wolf, or rather, her income, first caught the attention of Jax Films. See, Jack had stumbled upon the mind-bending news that his fellow tuber had been able to drop millions on a mansion with the wealth she accumulated through reaction videos, a genre he clearly didn't hold in high esteem.
Oh, he got time.
Epic, right?
To be fair, Jack was known for content that hinged on creativity that came in the form of parody.
Tired of using regular blankets like this? Do they somehow destroy your heating bills?
Like some of just the YouTube stuff, I'm just
dialogue?
This is
the Emoji
like
Movie
I'm almost
the worst
like
film ever
my last
made?
channel. It's almost a blessing in disguise.
Is the
At least
Emoji
I'm
Movie the best
detached
film ever made?
from half the dumb
Defied
drama.
expectations?
First off, there's the red eyes, so
like,
we're just
people
gonna
are so full
delete
of
the eyes
themselves.
altogether.
Like,
They're good, and then let's go to
I'm
the
sorry.
shirt. I'm gonna make the shirt way better,
and just correct it into
Like,
something a
wow, how
little
much
deeper.
And often,
headspace do you
videos that
guys
combined all three of these
live
trademarks.
in each
Today
other's
we're going to count
houses?
down the top 10 YouTube videos of all time. So let's start with number 10. A grown man drinking a bottle of glue.
Sniper Wolf's daily reaction videos, however, well, they were less
Wow.
dependent on personal innovation and more dependent on the innovation of others.
He's literally a pixelated stormtrooper. What?
Hey man, no
Literally pixelated
shame
himself.
on
That
her
is
platform,
amazing.
but
And
at
Jack
the
was
same
hoping to cash in
time,
on
like,
another person's content in precisely the same way. However, this time Sniper Wolf was the creator being leached from.
What I've done is I've created a brand new YouTube channel called Judge Jack's Films. And so
Cute.
far I've only uploaded one video titled TikToks That Gave Me a Tummy Ache. Here's a little snippet.
Your mom,
Oh, it says your mama. Oh, that's not very nice. This is giving me a tummy ache.
Jack's second channel, called Jija Jack's Films, received over 234,000 subscribers in 9 months, with videos that racked in a consistent 50 to 100,000 views for, admittedly, not a lot of effort compared to content on his main channel.
like a hidden compartment that a head just like pops out of.
Everyone
Yes, that is just phenomenal.
And Jack uploaded these reactions in peace for 8 months until June 22nd, 2023, when one social media post unintentionally invited his opponent into the ring. It all started when YouTube creators tweeted a quote from Sniper Wolf's keynote speech at VidCon, where she claimed she sourced her video ideas from her adoring fan base, saying, "It's really important for me to engage with my audience. I get a lot of content ideas from them in the comments. It's important
Are you
to grow and
freaking
adapt as a
kidding
creator."
me?
Jack,
Like,
it
I'm
seemed,
sorry.
wasn't sold on the creator's supposed
Some
creative
people are
process.
just so
As in
full of
response to the
themselves, I
tweet,
do not
he posted
understand
a
this.
screenshot of Sniper Wolf's latest
Like, I keep
thumbnails
watching
that
this like
advertised
it's
others'
like a
content next to
car
Sniper
wreck
Wolf's
or
contribution
something.
to videos. For example, various
Obviously
shock
it
reactions.
is.
6 days later, Sniper Wolf addressed Jack's criticism, tweeting, "I'm going to have to start charging you 20%. Since you get your ideas from me." Then she added, 90% of what I upload are my ideas. People copy me, and people like you get confused. Jack replied, "I invented reacting to other people's TikToks. Anyone else is
Oh my
copying me?
God.
Incredible mental gymnastic. Hey at YouTube, at
I'm
VidCon.
sorry,
You sure
but
you're okay
reaction
boosting her? Are you
videos were
absolutely
back
sure?"
in
Clearly, they were fighting
before the
words.
day.
As Sniper Wolf then launched a series
But
of
it's
low
cute
blows at
watching
Jack,
the kitties
including
fight
a
in the
suggestion
jello
that he was
pool.
angry that a female was outperforming him on YouTube, despite the fact that he had copied her formula to a T. Sniper Wolf then made a comment she attempted to scrub from the internet, following her spiel. Unfortunately for her, Jack had saved every statement the YouTuber had made about him, which he then posted in a video titled, "Sniper Wolf, but every 10 seconds I read a tweet she sent me tonight." So the post, read aloud by Jack, lived on.
The only thing that is funny about you is your hairline. If your content was entertaining, it would reflect in your views.
But Sniper Wolf's tirade didn't stop at the regrettable male pattern baldness jab. No, she rallied on, claiming that the Jija Jack's Films account couldn't be classified as satire because it wasn't funny, or at least not
No,
to her.
satire
Wolf just wanted an
isn't
excuse
supposed to be
copy me,
funny.
thinking it would be
We're
easy
not
money
supposed
for
to
him.
be
He gave
comedians.
up
We're
because the
supposed to
videos
be,
ended up getting
like,
less than 30,000
we're
views.
supposed to
Guess
hurt.
it's harder than it looks, huh? Yep, according to Sniper Wolf, Jack didn't have what it takes to produce content at her level, given that his thumbnails committed YouTube's cardinal sin of not being click-worthy, and his brand of humor had expired 10 years ago. She complained that while she hated to bring gender into the argument, no one ever attacks the male react channels, an argument Jack contested.
Let me just check something real quick.
How many?
Okay.
Yeah, I think the guys get it
And with that,
just as
the
bad.
feud between
Like,
the
no,
influencers
trust
was
me.
put to bed, at least for a few weeks. After all, by July 26, 2023, Jack had already uploaded a video that made it clear his previous critiques of Sniper Wolf were warm-up, and he was ready to play hardball.
This is Sniper Wolf. She's a YouTuber with over 30 million subscribers. So, what does she do? She steals TikToks and reacts to them.
According to Jack's assessment, Sniper Wolf didn't just receive millions of views from piggybacking off the work of actual creatives and creators, but more often than not, used their content without crediting them. In fact, in a video Sniper Wolf posted just 3 days before Jack's upload, She
You
included
can find
19 videos,
all the links
13
in my
of which
blog.
went
I'm
uncredited.
sorry,
and
I'm
when Jack and his
into
team reached out to some of
Pizza
those who
Pocket
had their
Land,
videos featured in Sniper Wolf's videos to ask if they'd been contacted by the YouTuber before she used their content, the answer was a resounding no.
Most of them were blindsided by the fact that Sniper Wolf had been using their content, and some of them were pretty upset about it.
Even when Sniper Wolf appeared to credit the creators, she was often crediting fellow content, which in turn furthered the gaps between the content and its rightful owner. This can lead to staggering differences in viewership, like say, 1,600 versus 13 million.
So for everyone claiming, well, at least Sniper Wolf's not hurting anyone, she very much is.
Of course, Sniper Wolf is by no means the first reaction channel to face this criticism. Since the glory days of Ray William Johnson and the Fine Bros, this genre of reaction videos has faced criticism that at times verges into legal action. Still, these channels are allowed to exist under fair use.
The extremely important legal doctrine that allows creators to upload content that isn't theirs.
The stipulation being that
Well,
the end
I
product
think
is
this is an
transformative,
important
which reaction
discussion
channels can accomplish
to-
by providing context, humor, or perspective that
Considering
makes
I
the
live
content their
every-
own. However, when it came to Sniper Wolf's content, Jack seemed to argue her commentary was less transformative and more so equivalent to providing audio descriptions for the visually impaired.
A fire hydrant exploded. The water's just going everywhere.
In fact, Jack went so far as to describe her content as non-tent.
Sniper Wolf is the damn that's crazy of reactors.
And he didn't appreciate that YouTube seemed to reward her minimum efforts.
It sends a terrible message to creators. And
Oh,
that
yeah,
is,
it does.
Don't create, steal. What's
Yeah,
the point
it
in writing
also
music
like
or
sets up
animating
all these
or
dumb
perfecting
kids.
your
I have
craft
some.
when you can just upload someone else's hard work.
It's like
and
the
say,
sense of
This is
entitlement.
nuts.
I don't
Like, I
need to
cannot
do
even believe what I'm
anything,
seeing
and
right
people
now.
pay
Me neither.
But now that Sniper Wolf had officially stooped
I
too
didn't
low,
understand
fun of
all
my
this
hairline.
argument. I'm
Now
not
that's something
gonna
only
let.
my wife,
Where are we in
friends,
this?
family, and viewers get to do. Not you, Sniper
Yeah, I
Wolf.
think that's
Never
like,
you.
enough of that.
Jack had no problem returning the favor by suggesting that viewers join his crusade
Well,
in informing
we'll play a
viewers
bit more.
exactly where
Just-
Sniper Wolf gets her content.
I will continue to call out thieving mooches like this, and I hope my fellow creators will do the same.
And from the look of Jack's comment section, he'd already found recruits. She's a prime example of pretty privilege. Thank God you posted this. My younger sister watched her religiously, and I tried to make her stop because it was simply garbage and unethical. The algorithm wants the most mindless content that will keep people on the app. Seemingly, in response to Jack's video, Sniper Wolf tweeted, "Incels on the internet need to take all of their anger and frustrations out at the gym. Why waste so much time being weak and angry when you can be stronger and work to have a better outlook in life?"
Oh my
However, while a few fans hit Sniper Wolf with an agree, girl facts, and leave her alone, it appeared many were not on the creator's side. Why waste so much time being original and creative when you can be lazy and exploit others' work to have an easier life? You're right. I'll just stick to stealing content from TikTokers and not crediting them. LOL. You're made to look bad with facts, and best you can say back is, go work out, nerd. LMFAO, that's an L. But an
Wow.
uprising wasn't the only promise Jack made in his video. The YouTuber also pledged to revamp the Jijit Jack's Films channel to not just spoof what he believed to be substanceless commentary, but to, in the terminology of fair use doctrine, transform Sniper Wolf's videos by critiquing the content.
It's minus 57 degrees.
Minus 57 degrees.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yep.
Tried to pour a can of Coke.
You try to pour a can of Coke?
Stop repeating. She's just repeating what they say louder.
Pretty much.
To do this, Jack assigned a letter grade to Sniper Wolf's reactions, while also crediting as many of the original creators
these two need
as he
to
could.
hook up.
You get an
I
F
don't
for
know.
that. You get an
I-
F for free.
They make
hey, that works really
beautiful
well.
babies
C
very
for,
angrily,
credit
I
the
think.
people that make these darn things. There was credit in the username, so B minus.
And through his coverage of the channel, it wasn't long before Jack began noticing that stealing videos wasn't the only thievery Sniper Wolf was committing. No, Sniper Wolf stole from captions.
He is not interested. Y'all are Delulu.
So, Delulu. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
A certain creator she recently claimed copied her.
The electric Porsche. So like,
yes, Mr. Beast captions.
And by strategically muting the videos, the commentary from the TikTokers themselves.
Didn't hit my shit with a Hadouken.
Oh, hell nah. She hit it with a Hadouken.
I got you red-handed.
It's a toe thong. Girl, that's a toe thong.
Wow!
Is there supposed to be a audience?
Would you like an audience while you pee?
In fact, Sniper Wolf's videos were so formulaic and her transgressions so consistent that Jack even added bingo as part of his viewing experience.
I almost think that with the House of Commons.
Your boy knows a fake
Bingo
laugh
House
when he
of
sees it,
Commons.
knows it. Come on, that was egregious.
Whoa.
Oh my god, textbook shaky cam. Alright, you know what to do, gamers.
Not me hiding my...
Oh my god, you know what that means, gamers? We are starting off strong, reading the caption word for word. Let's go.
But even Jack could be shocked by the depths Sniper Wolf could sink to. Whether it was playing clips multiple times to boost her video's runtime, to meet the 8-minute threshold for mid-roll ad breaks.
Wait, what are you doing? We already saw this, Miss Wolf. Are you just replaying it again?
Or playing TikToks in their entirety without providing commentary at all.
Ma'am, I think you forgot something. This is so lazy. I'm mad. I'm sorry. I'm mad. It was fun and games. I can't stand this behavior.
Yet despite Jack's critiques, Sniper Wolf's content stays more or less the same. From sloppy editing...
Bro, Riz game through the... That actually...
Whoa! Whoa!
But that's what they look for. They look for the shittiest of shittiest.
Wow, I was about to fall asleep there, and that giant editing mistake just woke me the hell up. You have 30 million subscribers, and you make mistakes like this on the regular.
Sourcing fellow content thieves.
Girl, that's a freebooter.
And hiding credit.
Hey guys, you notice the TikTok logo here, right? You see that? Wouldn't there be like a username like right where the Sniper Wolf is?
But while Jack's reactions might have not impacted Sniper Wolf's content, they did leave an impression on viewers. Yep, various users made it clear Sniper Wolf's thieving was no longer welcome around these parts, voicing this opinion to the point that the word permission was seemingly blocked from the YouTuber's comment section. Yet, Sniper Wolf's critics weren't so easily silenced when the person leading the pack had an audience of millions. On August 16th, Jack posted a new video about Sniper Wolf to his main channel, where he presented viewers with the findings made through Jack's films.
It's like they want each other,
was using the same clips multiple times to extend the length of her videos, that she stole jokes, and that she played videos without providing any reaction.
This is pretty damning evidence that people don't watch Sniper Wolf's channel for her. They watch it for the TikToks.
It was Jack's desire that this call-out would attract YouTube's attention to, and hopefully, the platform's firm hand.
I asked YouTube, are you sure you're okay with this? Are you absolutely sure? Hey, I get that she generates a lot of revenue for you, but this does not look good for your brand.
But after over a month of inaction from YouTube, those who had their content stolen by Sniper Wolf were taking matters into their own hands. On September 29th, Jack posted a video where he interviewed one of Sniper Wolf's victims, Mikey Skates.
Did Sniper Wolf or anyone from her team reach out to you asking for permission or like a fee or just even a shout out? Nothing.
Nothing.
Using what little power he had in the situation as a smaller creator, Mikey filed a copyright claim, which ended in a small victory.
Someone let me know your video was cut from the video.
And Mikey wasn't the only one to take this action. Others had filed claims that successfully ended their content being removed from Sniper Wolf's videos.
Yeah, YouTube isn't just like simple or like it's
years and years. You thought
cutthroat. It's like
oh well, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions.
I'd rather
and at least
deal
one
with
upload being fully deleted.
The video
I mean Wall Street,
is gone, like completely gone.
From Jack's perspective, this was the war cry needed for creators
like it's
to
moved
take
so
back what was
far
rightfully
beyond
theirs.
an
This is no
artistic
longer some
platform. It is
theoretical
just
movement.
corporate
This is
America.
happening now. Content thieves like Sniper Wolf will have to rethink their entire strategy if the original creators keep calling them out and keep claiming their original content.
People can
And so
find
Jack
all the
carried
links
fighting
on
the
my
good
blog.
fight on Jaja Jack's films.
One of the people I contacted
when they're on my blog, you know,
and now
unless
her
you
TikTok
pull
is
them
gone.
down, they're there. Like
It works,
people,
it works.
I go through my
Creators rise up.
statistics
But on
and
October
people
13th,
go back
everything
months.
changed.
look
to the
at
way
some of
his
these.
world was
So,
about to turn upside
you know,
down. Jack was streaming when he received
giving you
word
free
Sniper Wolf had
advertising.
posted about him on her Instagram story.
Maybe this isn't the advertising either party would want for this.
YouTube's
Like,
professional reactor had posed a question to her followers. Should I go visit at Jack's Films? He lives 5 minutes away from my shoot. And while Jack's reaction made it clear guests were permitted on an invite-only basis.
Alright, hold on.
okay, I do not want an unhinged bitch on set.
That's creepy.
That didn't stop Sniper Wolf.
She's in the house right now.
She really wants him, but she just wants to kill him, I think. Like, you know, Black Widow-ish or Praying Mantis.
Oh my god!
This is happening right.
What the
Call the
fuck?
police.
Call the fucking police. Yeah, no, what?
Call the police.
Let's
Oh my
talk like
God.
adults at Jack's Films. This was the message Sniper Wolf posted to her 5.6 million Instagram followers, with Jack's home and address in full view.
She's outside her house.
Record this right now.
Boxing you. Yeah, that's the.
Yeah, no, this is.
Hold on. I'm gonna go outside.
Aaron,
No, do not.
Don't, please don't. I'm gonna end this.
After the stream's abrupt end, Jack detailed the situation, tweeting, Sniper Wolf just doxed me on her Instagram.
Yeah, you
Gross,
don't dox
violating.
people.
What you do is disgusting. You steal content and
Yeah,
stalk YouTubers.
and then
at
she
YouTube,
stalks
demonetize
him.
this dangerous creator,
And then
or just get her
posts,
off your
like,
platform.
actual,
She posted an
like-
Instagram story right outside our home and deleted it.
Like,
However,
basically
Sniper
went
Wolf
onto
seemed
his
to think her
property and
visit was
stalked him.
justified. After all, if Jack's non-stop upload she was the subject of told the creator anything, he was clearly a fan. The creep has been harassing me for months, then plays victim saying I threatened him when I just wanted to talk to him. I have no ill intentions.
Well,
it's
then
so
meet
sad
at
when people
a
have to
coffee
constantly
shop. I'm
create
sure
drama
they
to
have
pay
coffee
their bills.
shops there,
Jack didn't
like-
buy that Sniper Wolf
Not
had
like,
no ill
I'm
intentions
5 minutes
after
away,
doxing
I'm
him.
gonna be at
Nor
your
do you
house.
believe calling her out for
Like,
stealing content
wow.
classified as harassment.
That
Adding,
is-
Obviously, it struck a nerve. But wow, doxing me was not on my bingo card. There is
Yeah.
no reality where you're in the right here. On Instagram,
Yeah.
Sniper Wolf continued to plead her case.
This guy's entire channel is just me. Every single video for the past few months has been about me.
'Cause
And it's just like on me. This dude is just like low-key harassing me. Like, should I get a restraining order?
And answered that question, Jack tweeted, well, one of us showed up to the other's house tonight, and it wasn't
Yeah.
me. Eventually, even Jack's wife, Erin Douglas, chimed in, directing her concern to YouTube that she worried that Sniper Wolf may do harm to her and her family. I am
Yeah.
a regular human that works a normal 8 to 5 corporate job that happened to fall in love with a YouTuber. She might claim that she is coming after a bully, but she is actually stalking and doxing normal people with no power. I am an example of this. I beg you, what can you do to help us, to keep us safe?
Yeah.
The next day, Sniper Wolf posted screenshots of messages that read, 400 videos online on someone, but wanting to talk in real life goes too far? Modern men are actually a joke. And
No,
according
I
to
think
Sniper Wolf, she
stalking
wasn't the one
is-
legally in
this
the wrong.
is-
No, that would be her accuser.
This is
Jack.
disturbing.
Accusing me of doxing is defamation. I have no
No,
idea how to dox.
she did
He literally
dox him.
posted his address
She-
on Google, and I said I threatened him and doxed him. Jack tried to make it as simple for the YouTuber as he could,
Like,
explaining,
oh
you
God,
posted
this
a
is
video
so
tonight
bizarre.
of you outside our home for your 5 million plus followers to see, while my wife and I were inside. I can't make it any simpler than that. If that's not doxing, why did you delete it? With these back and forths clearly going nowhere, Jack uploaded an uncharacteristically somber video where he made his current stance on Sniper Wolf clear, in no uncertain terms.
In my 17 years on YouTube, I've never once had someone come to my home and vaguely threaten me.
Yeah.
Sniper Wolf needs to be deplatformed.
Jack and his wife no longer felt safe in their home, especially since they were dealing with someone who didn't seem to realize she had crossed a line and had even joked about the situation.
If this goes unpunished, then it sets a terrifying precedent that you can dox and stalk your critics so long as you have a big YouTube audience.
Yeah.
So YouTube, please do the right thing and get her off the platform.
Viewers co-signed this statement, and some even wanted Jack to take things a step further. As one user put it, get a restraining order immediately. If YouTube won't help take her to court, hit her with everything you possibly can. It's disgusting how just because a woman is attractive, they can literally get away with breaking every law with no repercussions whatsoever. It's disgusting. On October 14th, a user asked YouTube what their policy on doxing was. The platform responded, "We don't allow harmful behaviors like threat and doxing." However, YouTube's stance didn't add up to Twitter users who quickly added a context note indicating YouTube still did nothing in Jack's case. And apparently, it didn't add up to Jack either, as the creator replied, "At Team YouTube, the best time to remove Sniper Wolf from your platform was Friday night, where she showed up to our home, filmed and posted a live video of our house for her 5 million plus Instagram followers, while my wife and I were inside, and dared me to come out. The second best time is now. I've sent video evidence to the appropriate channels, and I'm happy to share directly with you. Please, act now and remove this channel from your platform." With this action, coupled with public realization over Sniper Wolf's harmful behavior over content critic, Sniper Wolf lost over 100,000 subscribers by October 18th. But just because YouTube remained at a standstill didn't mean the rest of the internet was going to sit back and watch Sniper Wolf walk away unpunished. Sure, it was true Sniper Wolf had fans that saw her approach of wanting to speak face-to-face as adult, and couldn't understand the uproar knocking on a door had caused. But it was also true that Sniper Wolf had made some enemies over her years on the internet, and now seemed as good a time as any for them to strike. See, Sniper Wolf had a track record, and, come to think of it, a criminal record too.
Wow.
Yet, back in 2013, the creator was arrested. The charge? Well, as one user put it, content robbery and in real life robbery. How interesting. Specifically, Sniper Wolf was charged with armed robbery, and according to the creator's version of events, the arrest came after a physical altercation with an undercover security guard who caught her shoplifting.
I've talked about it a lot in past videos, but since it happened years ago, that's why I don't bring it up anymore. I'm not hiding anything, and there's just no reason to talk about it.
In 2016, Sniper Wolf was arrested again, this time along with her now estranged husband and fellow YouTuber, Evan Sausage, for disorderly conduct for fighting charges. Sniper Wolf acknowledged the arrest and claimed neighbors had overheard her and Evan fighting and called police.
You're just talking about how stupid and unlucky and unfortunate this whole situation was, because we just wanted to get frozen yogurt.
Yet, despite Sniper Wolf trivializing her run-ins with law enforcement, the resurfaced mugshots had the internet citing the creator's history of being dangerous in her situation with Jack. And as one Reddit user pointed out, it seems Jack isn't Sniper Wolf's first alleged doxing, as one of her online critics previously filed a lawsuit against her for revealing private information, including his real name, home address, phone number, and email to her followers and supporters, who then posted plaintiff's private information on the comments section of her videos. But it isn't just Sniper Wolf's alleged crimes that have been put under a microscope. It's her character. From allegations of transphobia,
it is ma'am.
Okay, sorry, sir. Ma'am, I'm so sorry.
To racism.
Why is he who is he? I don't know. Why is no, just look at me. Why also makeup?
Various social media users have argued that, when it comes down to it, Sniper Wolf might not be a good person, which perhaps explains why her estranged husband is suing her. The lawsuit accuses Sniper Wolf of multiple business breaches and alleges that while Sniper Wolf was the face of the channel, Evan was heavily involved in concept origination and development, scriptwriting, directing, video editing, posting finished videos to the channel, and market research and analysis, among other things, giving credence to the rumors that the YouTuber faked gameplay on her streams. And many have argued that Sniper Wolf was known for taking advantage of others, after a video of her asking minors on Omegle to twerk in exchange for flashing resurfaced.
Oh my god. That's awesome. Yeah. Let's get the little guy too. I wanted to see the little guy. Get your mom in here.
No, this is creepy.
Yeah, your son's doing all this for
To make matters worse for the YouTuber, she also appeared to have the habit of asking Omegle users to flash her, and even posted a video where she had an alleged 16-year-old expose herself under the pretense that the then 24-year-old Sniper Wolf was her age.
How old are you? I'm 15. How old are you? Oh, 16, I'm 15.
And that the creator would return the favor.
You first. I'm shy. Oh, damn, you work at Hooters too? Damn, you got enough money at Hooters to, get fake? I didn't know they pay that good.
Sniper Wolf eventually deleted these questionable videos. But it seems Sniper Wolf hasn't looked out for her fans' best interests either, as one user pointed out the irony of a tweet from the creator, where she advised her supporters, never signs anything unless there is money involved, and they will pay you for your clip. This is a scam, so they can trick you into stealing your videos so they can make money off of it without paying you. In fact, it wasn't so long ago that Sniper Wolf allegedly ghosted a terminally ill fan after she agreed to FaceTime with her and then went back on her word by telling the girl's mother her days are usually very busy. The mother replied back, "It would have been nice for you to just say hi. It's okay. She's ing and literally has days to live. I just tried to make my daughter's last wishes happen."
What the hell?
However, Sniper Wolf did end up making the time, later tweeting, "People just want an excuse to start drama. I have gotten into contact with the girl's mom, and I have sent her a video." And despite her checkered past, Sniper Wolf has miraculously evaded consequences through the years. Which begs the question, is now the time karma finally comes to collect?
I couldn't imagine treating someone like that.
YouTube was hesitant to come to any rushed decision with the platform, even appearing to make light of the situation by tweeting on August 18th. Would it be too meta to do a reaction video to a reaction video? Yet, users were quick to come to Jack's defense, adding the context that this tweet was written in the wake of a controversy regarding a reaction YouTuber, Sniper Wolf, who recently leaked the personal information of a fellow creator on the platform, Jack's Films. But with or without the platform's help, internet users were dead set on deplatforming Sniper Wolf. Founder of Animeme Studios, Zach James, called on users to report the incident to news outlets, including Fox, the New York Times, TMZ, and more, writing, "YouTube has clearly lost their minds when it comes to Sniper Wolf doxing Jack's Films and not enforcing their off-platform creator responsibility policy. So let's make this a bigger news story for them." Viewers were encouraged to report her profile. Some threatened to boycott the platform, and a petition to demonetize or deplatform Sniper Wolf inched closer and closer to its goal of 35,000 signatures through some very vocal supporters.
From having videos of teenage boys twerking on camera to encouraging a 16-year-old
But this is the
girl
thing,
to
if she
flash
has
her
like that many
on
followers,
camera,
YouTube is probably making $1 billion off this chick in advertising her ad video.
And delusional. But she's also been charged with robbery, which is not looking good for Jack. He could have been killed in that moment.
YouTube needs to actually start taking action about this. This is just insane.
And slowly, the public outcry seemed to be working, as Sniper Wolf's sponsor G Fuel, as well as her talent agency, both allegedly dropped the creator. Yet, YouTube appeared to bend the rules for Sniper Wolf, stating in a message to a user that anything done off the platform is outside of their scope, and therefore doesn't go against terms of service, despite previously banning Russell Brand for his off-platform behavior, and the platform's
But I
rules
think
affirming
showing
their
up
right
at
to do
someone's
this.
house and
According to one
threatening
Redditor,
them,
the
that
issue had
is
even made its way
actually,
into their 9-year-old son's classroom,
you know,
where some students were sticking by Jack, and others were
like, this is
insisting
nuts.
Sniper Wolf hadn't done anything wrong. So this is now affecting kids and leading
Yeah.
them to think this stuff is okay.
Yeah,
For
it's
all
not
the time,
okay.
the world had been distracted with
No,
Andrew
yeah.
Tate warping the minds of young teen boys into thinking SA, etc. is okay. Leah has been shaping
Yeah.
a generation of younger women into thinking her behavior is okay. This is potentially a lot
Yeah.
deeper of a concern than we have ever even considered. But before the fallout from the doxing could devolve further, on October 20th, YouTube finally took action by tweeting, confirming Sniper Wolf has received a temporary monetization suspension per creator responsibility policies. Off-platform actions that put others' personal safety at risk, harm our community, and the behavior on both sides isn't what we want on YouTube. Hoping everyone helps move this convo into a better place. So the platform had taken a stance, but was it the right stance to take? The context added by readers made it clear users weren't fans of the narrative that there was bad behavior on both sides. Even YouTube's heavy hitters spoke out, with Jacksepticeye commenting, "Wait, both sides? Criticism and parody are not the same as doxing." And Philip DeFranco replying, "YouTube about to drop your home address for this critique, Jack." As for the temporary nature of the monetization suspension, well, users weren't exactly overjoyed. The punishment doesn't match the literal crime. Stop playing favorites and being deliberately cryptic. Why don't you put the temporary in bold, dear Team YouTube? A slap in the wrist for everything she has done? Is this company serious? But it wasn't just YouTube that had posted a statement regarding the situation. So had Sniper Wolf. And this time, it sounded like an apology. Let me start by saying I'm sorry for my recent actions. It is inexcusable. I'm sorry to Jack's Films, YouTube, the entire creator community, and my incredible fans for not being a better example for appropriate conflict resolution. Jack's Film. While we certainly don't see eye to eye and have our differences, I am sorry for reacting the way I did, when I should have taken the opportunity to show young creators how adults and professionals resolve conflict, by communicating directly, respectfully, and privately, not for views or content, but a meaningful example of how conflict should be solved. I will reach out directly and hope we can find some time to connect and communicate respectfully. I'd also like to thank YouTube for holding me accountable. I deserve it, respect the decision, and appreciate the opportunity to learn and grow from a true lapse in judgment. Again, users found the post to be unsatisfactory, with some voicing disappointment that they hadn't received an update rendition of Toxic Gossip Train a la Colleen Ballinger. And there was something about the wording of the apology that sounded inhumane. Various users were suspicious that ChatGPT had composed the post, and according to one user's AI scan, that was 100% likely to be the case. But if you believe this marks the end of Sniper Wolf's career, think again. Aside from the creator's dislike ratio being up, she's continued posting as normal, and has even begun crediting the content she uses. And while she might be demonetized on her main channel, that hasn't stopped her from uploading to her second channel, where she is monetized. In fact, some have noticed that Sniper Wolf has even allegedly re-uploaded old content to this channel in order to briefly monetize it. And while YouTube might have been forced by public demand to demonetize the creator, that reportedly hasn't stopped the platform from advertising her content. Nor has her apology stopped burner accounts from popping up to defend the creator and allegedly dox her critics. As one Redditor added, one of the victims thinks it's Sniper Wolf's sister, Wolfie, because she got doxed right after blocking her account during an argument where Wolfie was defending Sniper Wolf. I can't substantiate these claims, so take them with a spoonful of salt. On October 25th, Sniper Wolf posted to her Instagram story, "Please remember that in spite of our differences, different opinions, mistakes, we all struggle to do the best we can, and nobody is unaffected by hate, insecurity, and the pain it causes." She said she would be stepping back and turning off comments to focus on her own mental health that had been on a steep decline the past year. She ended the post by asking her viewers to be patient, as even filming videos had become a burden over the past few months. You never know the struggles people are going through, so please be kind, and please try to remember I am human and I have feelings just like you. There was no reply from Jack. In fact, he stayed silent for 3 weeks, causing fans to worry. I have been thinking of you a lot these past couple weeks, and I truly hope you are okay. Only recently, on November 3rd, Jack returned to YouTube with a video titled, "What Comes Next?" on his second channel. In a heartfelt message, Jack extended his gratitude towards his supporters for their comforting messages during this time away from social media. As for Jack and Aaron's life update everyone was waiting for, Jack assured everyone they were safe, but admitted they had a rough past few weeks. The doxing situation has changed how they feel in their home.
We're just in this weird limbo of scared to leave our home and strongly considering moving. So it hasn't been great.
And this
And
isn't
then there was
fair.
the obvious
like,
question. What is
but
going
this
to happen
happens
to
all the
Jack's
time.
films?
I
The
hear
channel
this
that
on
focused
other
heavily
channels on
criticizing Sniper
YouTube.
Wolf's
You
content
people need
and
to
finding
smarten
the
up.
original creators to credit.
Not to break up my
Jack
mom
proposed
voice,
a new
but
format where creators can submit their work via
not even
Google
dealing
Forms
with that
to
text
receive
right now.
constructive criticism using an updated bingo card format. Jack explained this would be a way for him to give back to the creator community by turning his channel into a workshop for creators, vowing to maintain the channel's founding principle of recognizing creators' efforts and crediting the creator.
Turn into
Man,
a
that was
positive.
something. I aim to constructively pick it apart, do deep dives, tell you what works and what I think could use some work.
And by November 6th, Jack live-streamed his first video with the new format.
Hello, everyone.
Wonderful.
Welcome back. It's,
Well done. I mean, because this is scary when you have
hello. I've missed
family and kids, and you have like
As
this
for Sniper
unhinged
Wolf, by early
chick
November,
showing
her main
up at your
channel was still
doorstep,
under
like,
temporary
"Hey, I just want to
demonetization,
talk.
but with the addition of
By the
turning
way, I
off her
posted
comments
your
completely."
address to everyone,
Where
and
YouTube
I'm
has
showing
left
you
things
right
with
now."
The Jack's Films and Sniper Wolf saga,
It's like, are
it's
you
unlikely to
kidding?
please either side.
Hey,
No,
YouTube, are you
there are
okay
no
with
good
this?
sides. Like
I'm not really
I do
okay
not
with this.
like
There's 4,000
people
watching.
think
They're not really okay with this.
But like Sniper Wolf's monetization ban, this conclusion is likely only temporary, as unrelenting backlash
It violates the Geneva Convention of Internet Content Creators, where you never take internet beef into the real world.
There you go.
and potential legal action.
Well
She
said.
turned from a mere content thief
Yeah.
to someone who doxes
And
stalks
stalks.
her critics.
Like the
Foreshadows more
stalking
fallout to
part,
come.
like showing
In
up
case you
at
can't tell,
your
this is a
house,
topic
like
I'm extremely passionate about. I've been fighting this kind of activity since before Sniper Wolf even had a YouTube channel.
yeah.
This is the story
I'm
of Jax
just
Films
saying,
versus Sniper Wolf, an online feud for the ages.
you know, I've been doxxed before, so just say, plus, like, there's like every other night some unhinged junkie outside my door. Like, I'm glad I live on an upper level because, like, some nights it's like the other night I had to go out. Like, and these kids are like, some of them are giving me the finger from my balcony. I'm like, well, I'm not the one who's like trying to rape each other on my neighbor's car. Like, get out of my fucking parking lot or, batter up. Okay, that was a moment. Now on to Happy Crayon Drawings. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He is doing amazing work.
Hello, friends. My name is JJ, and I once again find myself in the nation's capital of Ottawa, staying at my most favorite place in the world, the Holiday Inn Express.
I'm sure
getting
he's
ready
so
to
familiar
do my
with
favorite
it.
thing in the world, which is, of course, testify at the government committee about Bill C-11. Bill C-11 is the Trudeau administration's legislative initiative
C-11
to put
anymore.
internet media under government regulation for the
We're
first time.
so
It is actually not called
here.
Bill C-11 anymore
Like,
because it was signed
no, you
into
think
law
I'm worried
last
about,
April.
like,
the new name is the
YouTube?
Online
My
Streaming
own
Act, in
government
reference to the
is
fact
after
that
me.
it primarily exists to regulate online streaming
like,
platforms
really?
like YouTube. Now, I've been opposing this thing since day one, talking to the press and politicians and trying to serve as a kind of informal representative of the broader Canadian YouTuber community, who in my experience generally oppose this legislation as well. A lot of us are very worried about the Online Streaming Act's stated intention of steering Canadians who use online streaming platforms towards more good, patriotic, authentically Canadian content, whatever that means, and the ways in which this could wind up hurting channels who do not make that kind of content. But I don't want to get into all of that right now. You can watch one of my other gazillion videos on Bill C-11 if you want to hear a more in-depth critique, because what I want to talk about today is where things stand now. Amazingly enough, the law is still nowhere near close to actually going into effect. People keep asking me when that's going to happen, and I have to keep saying, I don't know, because the process of lawmaking in this
CRTC doesn't
country
even
can be
know.
incredibly drawn out,
Like
especially
all
when the law in question is as controversial as this one.
And
So the
vague,
Schoolhouse Rock version of how laws are made in Canada
and recently,
goes something like
having
this. The Prime Minister gets some
every
idea,
single
then the House
porn
of Commons votes yes
distributor
or no,
in Canada
then the Senate votes yes
go
or no,
before
and if it passes
a
both
committee
places, it gets
and be
signed
like,
into law by the
so
Governor
how
General,
is the
and
CRTC
yippee, we
going
got
to
a new law.
regulate us?
But
And they're
that
like,
is not actually how things work in practice these days.
no,
and that is
you want to
because, in
regulate the
addition
whole
to the
internet. How are you going to
political
regulate
part
all
of
this
the
porn
government,
stars?
there is also this great big
I
equally
don't
powerful
know.
part called the
Like, this is why we
bureaucracy.
like international
Nobody makes cute
porn,
little
so we wouldn't
infographics
see
about the
grandma,
bureaucracy, but
like,
it is impossible to understand
you know,
why Canada
like,
has the laws
yeah,
that it
let's
does,
go outside
unless you
it. Let's
understand the
expand the
critical
pool
role
a
that is played by them.
bit. You
Laws
know?
passed by the Canadian Parliament
I'm sure
are
other
often
countries feel
very
the same about us.
aspirational in
Like,
nature, which is to
well,
say,
at
they
least we
describe
know they're no
goals and
cousin.
objectives that the politicians want to see achieved. In the case of Bill C-11,
The
these
CRTC
goals and
is
objectives
so
included getting Canadians to
antiquated,
watch more
and
good
it is going to
Canadian
be
content online, helping
it's gonna be
Canadian creators
interesting.
achieve more success in the age of the internet, and creating new subsidy programs to help Canadian creators in all media industries. And the bill does
I just
describe
see
a few
70
specific ways in which
no.
these goals should be pursued, but a much more common thing that you find in the bill is the phrase, the Commission shall or the Commission may. This sort of language is extremely common
is
in all sorts
actually
of laws
very,
these
very-
days. If it's not the Commission shall, it is the Minister shall, or in America, the Secretary shall, with ministries or secretaries or commissions being agencies
This is
within the
such
government's
important
executive branch. These shall
semantics
lines
on the
have become a
language
bit of a
of these
cliche
bills.
these days and a symbol of how reliant on the bureaucracy our politicians have
people
become.
think I'm
And this
dumb
is
for
because
bringing this
a lot
up,
of these
but
shall directives to executive branch agencies
this
are
will
very
impact your
open-ended
life
in
eventually.
nature. The politicians are like,
We are
I
like
kind
the
of think
little
I know what I
canaries in
want,
the
but
coal
I also
mine.
don't want to think too hard about it, so I'm going to leave that to the professionals, with the professionals being the civil servants who work in the executive branch agencies. These are the non-partisan government workers hired for their education and experience, the sort of people that even the politicians often think know more about what the law should be like than them. Alright, so hopefully that makes some sense so far. In the case of the Online Streaming Act, the commission that shall do all of these new things is the Canadian Radio, Television and Telecommunications
Oh God,
Commission,
not the
or
CRTC.
which is
Oh
part
God,
of the Canadian
is this
Department
Canadian
of
content
Heritage,
right now?
which
Am
is
I getting
under
Canadian
the
content?
Minister of
Am I
Heritage.
winning in the
After
battle
Bill
for
C-11 was signed
Canadian
into law,
content?
responsibility for implementing the law was thus
Yay,
officially
fuck the
handed over to the
CRTC.
CRTC, who shall now have to
Because no one
decide how they will
internationally even
use
knows
their
what the
new
hell I'm
shall
talking about, or
powers
he's
to
talking
carry out
about.
the
They
will
don't even
of the
know.
politicians. The person
But we're gonna
doing the
fuck over
handing
your country
however,
as well.
was the Minister of Canadian Heritage, who is an elected politician in Prime Minister Trudeau's cabinet, and as he hands over the bill to the CRTC, he issues what is known as a policy directive, which is basically a sort of parting statement in which the CRTC is given some suggestions on how to best carry out the will of the elected government. Now, the Heritage Minister's policy directive, which was issued in November of this year, was regarded with
Still
some
awful.
cautious
That whole
optimism
department,
among
I
critics
would-
of Bill C-11.
I'd
This
be
was
like
because the ministry
Argentina, be
did
like, no, you
something
scrapped it
that
and pull
they
that
had not been willing to do
little
when the bill was
magnet
being
off the
debated in
board.
Parliament, namely offer some degree of
Yeah.
assurance that the CRTC would not be allowed to regulate certain forms of user-uploaded internet media,
unfortunately,
like
they
YouTube
are.
videos, which had been the big concern.
This,
The
like,
critical
this is why
line
I'm
in the policy
like
directive
doing
states,
these videos.
The Commission
It's
is
not-
directed to exclude
because
from regulation content
pretty
made
soon
by
I'm not
social
going to be
media
able to,
creators.
maybe.
However,
Or,
I myself
like,
was not fully appeased
about
by
in
this. A lot of it
international
comes down to
waters
how
just
you
so I can
define
broadcast
social media
like pirate
creator,
radio,
with the
like
policy
back in
directive
Britain
rather
in the,
obtusely
you
defining
know?
it as a
Like,
person
is this what
who
we're coming
makes
down
stuff
to?
for social media. But what exactly is social media? Just kind of a colloquial term that doesn't really have a precise technical definition, let alone a legal one. A very broad range of
There's a
websites are
problem
often
also
described
with
as
all
being
this
social media, but I
legislature.
think
We
it's
do
difficult to
not
argue
have
that
an
somebody
actual
who posts a
definition
one-sentence tweet
of
is as
social
much
media.
a social media creator as
In
somebody who
Canada.
posts a 20-minute
With the
video
CRTC.
essay. The policy directive seems
We
to be
don't.
aware that this kind of
It's a
content
joke.
is not in fact the same,
I'm laughing,
which is
but
why
it's not
it makes
funny.
a reference to content created and uploaded by everyday users, but that just muddles things further. The ministry also continues to
because
insist
then
that
we-
a big goal of the Online Streaming Act
Then
is
if
to make
you
good
are like me
Canadian
and you
content
have a
more
business,
discoverable
then
and promoted on the big
you're
online
not
streaming
just an
platforms, but
everyday
promoting good Canadian
user.
content still
You're in
carries
a
with it the
different, like,
implication
tax
that bad
category,
Canadian
so
content will not benefit from this new regulatory
where is this
regime.
going?
So as far as I'm concerned, there
Is
are
this
still a
enough
lot of
Canadian
big
content?
unanswered
I really wanna
questions about
prove,
what sort of content
you know.
will be affected by these new government regulations and who will benefit at whose expense. Back in April, the
whose
CRTC opened
expense
its
is a
call
good
for public
term word.
witnesses as it sought to solicit feedback on how it should use its new powers. And I have to confess, I was somewhat oblivious to this because it didn't get a lot of press and I don't really know a lot about how bureaucracy works. The CRTC does not invite witnesses the way that I was invited to testify at the House of Commons and the Senate. Instead, you have to apply yourself. And in my opinion, this makes the CRTC witness process a lot more special interest driven. Just because at this point of the process, the only people that really know what is going on tend
People
to be
don't even know
plugged
about
into
this.
the Ottawa scene. You know, like powerful lobby groups representing big
So
corporations.
how can
and
a little
unions
person
and
like me
other
even
people who
lobby?
make it their business to follow
Even get my
everything
little
that
foot
the
in the door.
Canadian government is doing super closely.
With my
But
cute
eventually,
little
I
shoes.
did
And
learn
I
about
am
this and
gonna,
figure out how to apply.
work
I
on my
filled out
little
all
booties.
the paperwork
I like
and
this
forms
pair.
and Now I'm here, going to testify in front of the CRTC. One thing I didn't fully realize until I got here, however, is just how exhaustive the CRTC's hearings are. In Parliament, they tend to do one round of witness testimony and then move on. But the CRTC is apparently planning to continue doing hearings well into 2024. I applied late, and I'm going to be the second to last witness out of 122 other witnesses. And this
really
is
gonna
just
care
for
what he
phase
says
one. And this reflects the fact that the Online Streaming Act is incredibly ambitious. I have mostly fixated on the degree that it seeks to promote good Canadian content to Canadian internet users, but it seeks to do so much more than that. One aspect that I really underestimated was the degree that the legislation seeks to fundamentally alter Canada's entire regime of media and art subsidies, which is a topic that a lot of people in the Canadian media industry care a lot about. Whenever questions of government money come up, a lot of people tend to come out of the woodwork. So I have been told to expect a lot of money-related talk to dominate at the hearings, and I have prepared an opening statement that hopefully engages with that. So we're going to head to bed now, and first thing tomorrow, testimony at 9 a.m. I've decided I'm going to wear this outfit, so I look like a normal, regular guy and not some lobbyist, and hopefully that will work to my advantage.
Yeah. He almost looks like a friend of mine.
JJ is stressed. He's going, but just his impression of how I'm stressed. Okay, JJ, when they were signing you in, they didn't know. Tell us about your signing experience.
Well, they signed me in, and they didn't know who I was, and they asked me for my ID, and then they asked me who I was representing. I said, I'm just representing myself. And they said, oh, we'll put you down as a visitor. So they gave me a visitor pass.
What?
What do you think that says? That
they don't even give a fuck. They don't even give a fuck. That's what it says.
The premise that any witness is representing like an organization or a company or a lobby group. Or
then I think this is a good hint to know when I go, if I could go.
So I'm pretty stressed right now. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't blame you.
There's a little panic room thing that they have in the lobby. Even though I've testified at the House of Commons and testified at the Senate and was not overly intimidated by that process, I am feeling pretty intimidated by this process. These are people that take their jobs very seriously. They take the ins and outs of the law very seriously.
And they are completely
it was like all of these briefing notes and things that I was supposed to read in anticipation of my testimony, and honestly, I just didn't have the time, and they were just very long and dense documents that were a little,
because it's the antiquated legislature that's going to screw us and put Canadian media into the dark ages. Welcome to communism. Have fun. Have fun. Hope everyone has fun.
I don't speak this language super fluently. And I guess it just sort of feels like the process is in a different stage now.
Yeah, it is.
It's a stage that is maybe less receptive to people like me. I kind of feel like
because
I'm sort of out of place in a way. I did not feel like I was out of place with the
but we have more
political side of things.
This is why anyone who has a stake in this needs to
embarrassed, or they're going to embarrass me, or that they're going to talk down to me or condescend to me or make me seem like an idiot. So I don't really know what to expect. I'm just going to try to do
it's
the
the
best
CRTC.
And try to bring
just like
my perspective to them. And
these are like
eager to engage with the perspective that I have to offer.
I'm sorry, CRTC, I hope I qualify for Canadian content. Otherwise, you can go fuck yourselves. I'm sick of these legislations. This is communism. It's wrong.
Folks that have comprised the bulk of the witnesses that the CRTC has heard from up till now.
We'll now hear the next presenter. Please introduce yourself and you may begin.
No,
Oh,
she's...
sorry. Please open your mic. Yes.
This one? Okay, there we go. Awesome. Okay. Hello, friends. My name is JJ McCullough. I am a professional YouTuber from Vancouver. I make videos in my apartment where I tell stories about history and culture with a focus on educating the world about Canada. Over the last 2 years, I have been a high-profile critic of the former Bill C-11 within the community of professional Canadian YouTubers. Now that C-11 has become law, I am eager to speak to you today to ensure that the perspectives of this large, important, and ever-growing community within the Canadian cultural economy are heard.
Want you to go fuck
professional
yourselves.
YouTuber is someone who uploads videos to a channel on YouTube.com on a regular basis and whose videos are popular enough to generate enough revenue to make a living. YouTube, as I'm sure you guys all know, puts ads in videos, and some of the revenue that those ads generate is shared with the people who make and upload the videos. Many YouTubers also make money by selling merchandise or doing live shows and things like that. YouTube has become the internet's largest and most influential online video platform, which I'm sure you guys also already know, and Canadians have been extraordinarily successful on it.
We also helped build it up.
Canadians may even be
We got
YouTube's
sick
most
of-
successful nationality.
We
per
got
capita.
sick of
My own channel has
the
over
CBC
900,000
and just all this,
subscribers, with
like, we
videos
want
that
to
are
find
usually
our own
watched by
stuff.
a minimum of about 100,000 people each.
We're still going to
For
be
the last 2 years,
Canadians.
I have been making a comfortable six-figure income doing this, which I would say is normal for
Six-figure?
a channel of my size.
Wow.
It is worth noting, however, that my channel isn't even that big. According to the website Social Blade, which keeps track of such things, I am only Canada's 358th most popular YouTuber.
Wow.
There are over 1,000 Canadians who have YouTube channels with over 100,000 subscribers. There are over 100 Canadians with YouTube channels that have over 4 million subscribers. I have a lot of friends who are professional Canadian YouTubers, and I've met with countless others at various YouTuber gatherings across North America, as well as their editors, assistants,
I'm just
and other employees.
fascinated, like
I'm
Jane
always impressed at what a diverse community we are in every sense of the word. Our opinions on the online streaming act, however, tend to be pretty unified.
Right now
One
on
thing I
X,
really want to
Elon's been
emphasize is
clear
that there
about
is no
where free
widespread
speech
sense
is.
among Canadian YouTubers that ours is a
Twitch,
community
I think we went
that is
over that
struggling
earlier in
or
my
need of
stream,
government
and
assistance. Success or
YouTube,
failure
well,
on
we'll
YouTube
see.
is not analogous to success or failure in traditional media realms like television,
Yeah.
movies, recorded music,
But
or radio.
the
The
CRTC
barriers to
cannot
entry are much
regulate
lower,
the
with the
entire
variables of
internet. That
popularity
is
much more clearly
against our
democratic
charter
and
rights.
meritocratic.
That is
I
basically
would like to
saying the
talk about my friend
government
Brogan as a
has
case
the
study.
right to
Brogan
regulate
started
every
his YouTube
single
channel, which is
thing
called
you
Art
see
Chat,
on the
in
internet.
2021
And that
to make
is
videos
actually
about art and
against
culture. Originally
our
from Toronto,
charter
Nova Scotia,
rights.
he recently moved
Get
to
a
Toronto
VPN
in part to be
or,
around more
you know.
Canadian YouTubers. Brogan works as a bartender and makes videos in his free time. His channel has been growing steadily and recently passed 40,000 subscribers.
Well done.
If trends continue, his YouTube ad revenue will be enough for him to do YouTube full-time. Brogan makes videos in the living room of his small basement suite apartment with a simple camera and tripod. He edits them all himself, doing the graphics and sounds on his own computer. Brogan has benefited from being part of a large and supportive professional YouTuber community in Toronto. They give him feedback on his video ideas, they exchange editing tips, and they share knowledge about the life of
I
a
don't care
professional
about
YouTuber.
editing. I think everyone knows
Brogan is also the
It's
architect of his own success.
I
Whether
can
he
do
succeeds
it.
or
I
fails
just
on YouTube will depend on whether he has the self-discipline
would rather
and time
not.
management skills necessary to produce videos at a regular pace, whether he has the creativity to make videos that are fun and engaging to watch, and whether he understands the public well enough to make content that they will actually want to watch. I believe that professional YouTubers and other professional
I'm not
intent-
trying to be
or-
professional.
I believe that
I'm just
professional
trying to get
YouTubers and
people
other
to,
professional
like,
internet content
deal with the
creators
government
increasingly
because,
form
you
the
know,
backbone
I'd
of
rather.
Canada's 21st
I need,
century-
and also,
21st
I
century
really want to
cultural
do some
economy.
sewing
And by and
streams,
large,
but
we
I
are
need a
doing
better camera.
well because
that
we
way I
know
can do
what it
like
takes
the
to do
camera
that.
down and
In
like
the
just
context
on
of
my
the CRTC's
hands,
current
because
deliberations, the
I
point
keep
I most
like
want to
every time I
emphasize
try and
is that the
do
Online Streaming Act
something,
must
it's
not be
like a
implemented
little
in
kid
a
like,
manner that
hey
would
mom,
punish
can
the
we put
success
this on the
of
fridge?
professional
And
online
it's like
content creators
nobody
in order to create
understands what
financial
I'm
subsidies for legacy
doing with
media.
sewing or beading.
Without
And
putting too fine of a
I
point on
have,
it,
I'd
our
love to
material
share
success
some
should
of
not
my
be redistributed
skills,
to
like
artists,
just so
entertainers,
people
and media
don't
corporations
feel
who have proven less
intimidated
adept at adjusting
fixing
to the
something
internet
or
age.
altering something.
People
or,
talk about how the rise of the internet has
You
created
don't need a
winners
lot.
and losers in Canada's cultural economy. But I would
It's really
hope that the
simple.
success of Canada's professional online content creator community would be understood as an inspiring story of self-directed entrepreneurship and not an example of how big tech platforms have robbed money or fame from others. Canada's professional YouTubers and other online content creators are thriving in spite of government being relatively oblivious to us. I would hope that the Act will be implemented
it's like
in such a way
we're not
as to
asking
maintain
for the
status quo
handouts,
of
like the
benign
traditional
neglect to the
model.
maximum extent.
Oh, let's go
opening
get a
statement
government
concluded, there was
grant
some back
because
and
I'm an
forth between me
artist
and
and
members of
I
the
do
CRTC
Canadian
board.
content
I won't
and I'm
bore
not
you with
saying
all of it. I posted the full
disrespecting
video on my
like people
second
like
YouTube channel
my
if you wanna check
aunt
that out.
or
I can show you some
other
highlights,
you
though.
know
The
friends
first
who
woman
have
asked me,
gotten
a lot
government
of very
grants
technical
for their
questions
art,
about
but
definitions of things
it's like
user
some of
uploading
us
media
just
and what is social media and
don't
all
want
that.
the strings
I
that
was
come
sometimes struggling a little
attached.
bit to keep up with this because it was very technical.
You know,
but
I
do
don't.
think I
If you
articulated
have a
some of the
government grant,
points
you
that I
can't
made to you guys
talk
earlier.
like I
In
am
your
right now.
approach, would you say that we should treat professional video content creators as undertakings?
Well, I know that this is kind of the hot issue, which is like, well, what work is content created by users sort of within this jurisdiction? And I talked a bit about that in my submission as well, that I feel like when we talk about sort of user-created content, you know, creator content in general, I feel like there's kind of a colloquial understanding of what that means, and then there's a kind of an understanding of what people in my community understand that to mean, which is something very different. And that's why I was sort of saying that I think that there would be some use, even if that use is just to clarify that when we talk about creators, when we talk about, for example, like users who upload content to social media sites, which I think is like some of the language that's used in the Act and in the policy directive, I think it might be useful to clarify that if in your perspective, if what I do does not fall under the definition of what it is to be engaged in a broadcast undertaking, then I think it might be worthwhile to just clarify that explicitly.
Yeah. Everything is so vague in the law.
Section
And oh my
4.21
God, you looked
that
at all
says
these
that
chicks
you
and
guys
their
are
eyes
obligated
just
to
like,
consider the extent to which a program
Like,
uploaded
I
to an
saw,
online
like-
undertaking that provides a social media service
it's okay, your
directly or
microphone was off
indirectly
for a minute,
generates
sir.
revenue. And
You
that
can
part,
speak.
section 4.21,
I
has
saw
been a
her
source of
eyes
contention in
like,
my community because of that little qualifier at the end, which suggests that there is this other sort of class of social media user, a social media user that uploads content to an online undertaking, but then proceeds to directly or indirectly generate revenue, and that this is supposed to be something that you guys are supposed to, you know, quote unquote, consider, right? So when we consider that sort of language, coupled with this, the policy directive's acknowledgement that there exists something called an everyday user, and then that in turn viewed in the context of the existence of someone who's just a social media creator, right? Like all of these
And
sort of
also,
terms,
please
they seem
like
to
and
conflict
subscribe,
be
and
contradictory
also
and
in
be
my,
confusing and ambiguous. And I just think some clarity is needed there.
You mentioned discoverability.
Yeah.
Definitely
in your intervention, you
donate
mentioned
to
that
my
professional
PayPal.
YouTubers are concerned about the discoverability of video content produced.
Hey,
by
everyone else
professional
sucks up
YouTubers.
for money, I might as well.
Because basically, discoverability produces views, which of course generates income, which is what it's all about, I guess, for professional YouTubers. But
and I know
two
this is
other
boring,
similar
but
services arguably have enough of a discovery,
this is important,
discoverability
and I
function
like
built into their operations that many social media
this
creators
conversation
are arguing
impacts
that there is
everyone
just simply
across
no
the
need
world.
for regulatory intervention.
Because Canada has
how
such
do you respond
a
to that?
huge
I think
share of
that's
the
true.
YouTube
I mean, I
market,
think that,
so
you know,
it's,
like I said before,
if
like,
it's going to
a
get
platform like
competitive,
YouTube, which I just have to speak to because it's the one I know the best, it's very market-driven, it's very public opinion-driven, it's very taste-driven, very preference-driven, it's very meritocratic and very democratic in that sense. The sort of videos that you want to watch are the videos that pop up in your recommendation feed, and that's based on a very sophisticated algorithm of understanding what you're into. I mean, I know that the government might have a position that Canadians can't sort of be trusted, their own tastes are perhaps, not patriotic enough or whatever, and that we need to be consuming more Canadian content, whether we think we want to or not. And I think that's in part what sort of the discoverability sort of tweaks are designed to do. They're designed to sort of emphasize that Canadians perhaps should be watching more Canadian content, even if they're not actively seeking it out on their own accord. I know that that's a kind of ideological
But we don't
preference
need
that
to.
I
We
don't
know we're
personally share,
Canadian.
but I know that is kind of the logic of the
and it's
of the
not like they're going to be
legislation.
pushing this on,
So, I guess that, that's, I suppose, a
Some
decision that you
communities.
folks will have to make, right, is to what degree are we comfortable...
like, where's the
sort of
algorithm going to be
disrupting
pushing
the
all
existing
this Canadian
sort of algorithmic
content as
system
well?
on a social media
Because it
site
won't
like
be
YouTube
on actual
that is very
Canadians.
public's focused.
Or it
It's
actually
very,
will be,
based
like, people
on the
who
tastes of the
don't...
users and
We
feeding
know
users
who
the
you
kind
are.
of content and the recommended content that they themselves want to see.
It's not
To what
going to be
extent are we
pushed
comfortable
on
sort
the
of intervening
communities
into the
who
system?
probably
But I
could
think
use
the
it.
vast majority of users of certainly of YouTube, and I think of most social media programs,
Like
would sort
the
of say
furries.
it works broadly well for their viewing experience, for their experience as consumers.
Just because you
of-
dress
of
up in a
content.
fuzzy
And to
costume
what
doesn't
extent are we
make
willing
you
to
like
disrupt
a
that
different
in the
animal.
service of some sort of larger kind of patriotic good of the kind of content that we think they should be watching, even if
Unless,
they perhaps don't know that
well,
they
there
do.
is like a special,
I want to talk a little bit about funding now. Last week we heard Digital First Canada, who indicated that the current funding bodies are insufficient and incapable, this is a quote, of aiding digital creators in Canada, unquote. They also mentioned a lack of resources for digital first creators as a barrier to work on applications for funding, for example. So I'm wondering if you can comment on any other types of barriers.
because it's not even
faced
like
specifically in your view by
we're
professional
getting
video
regulated, but
content
we're not
creators
even really
and or social media
recognized.
creators. And what are the needs, and how can they be better? How could they better contribute to the objectives of the Act with appropriate support? What do we need to do to support that?
Well, it's like I sort of said in my opening statement. I feel like we know what we need, and frankly, I feel like most of what professional content creators need is just self-discipline, work ethic, sort of entrepreneurial
Yeah,
skills.
we do not
and this
need
kind of
the
thing,
government.
community,
Can you just
support
fuck off?
within sort of a peer group and that kind of thing. The overhead is often very small, right? Like to
Yeah.
make professional content, I film in my, even though I'm more successful than my buddy Brogan, we have in some ways a very similar sort of setup. I just film in my living room, he films in his living room. Maybe I have a slightly better camera than he does. I have one kid
I just have
in
a very
Ottawa that helps
lovely
me edit,
couch
and
and my
he has
stuff
nobody.
is-
But the overhead is pretty minimal, and I think that mostly when I talk to content creators,
And I know
it
it's.
very
I
rarely
will
comes
get
up
a
the
better
idea that
camera
we
and
don't
mic
have
and
access
everything.
to,
It's,
government
but
funding.
right now I'm
We
just
heard
doing
from
it
the
for
radio folks
fun.
and the documentary folks
This
before
is a
that,
snapshot
right, where
in
they
time.
feel like that they're working in this very overhead heavy sort of industry where the funding just isn't available and that they're having a hard time making ends meet and sort of collapse and failures just over in the corner. I think that a lot of professional content creators just don't see themselves in a sort of analogous position. And so I think it is true that obviously a lot of the sort of the funding regime that exists to subsidize cultural industries in
Sorry, I
Canada
just
are not
realized I
available
had
to
to-
professional online content creators. But I also just kind of think in my own experience that doesn't seem like something that's very front of mind concern for most of us. We know what it takes to succeed, and you can often succeed, again, with remarkably low overhead costs, just because you're you're fundamentally sitting in front of a camera. You don't require a ton of, huge, expensive recording studios and radio broadcast towers and license fees and all this kind of stuff, right? So I think it's true, but I would think that my personal opinion is that that's perhaps a little bit of a distraction. I think that, I don't want to get too much into my own personal preferences for it, but all I can sort of say is that I think that when you talk to professional online content creators and you ask them, what's holding you back? I don't think it's very often a funding issue. I think it's more just like a time issue, and their ability to actually, this is a very important point I want to emphasize, is that one of the biggest things holding, I think, professional content creators back is an inability to understand what the public wants. It's a very public-facing profession. You're trying to make videos that people will watch. How many times we spend all this time thinking like, oh, I've got to make the best thumbnail, the best title, is it engaging within the first 30 seconds? Are people going to keep wanting to watch? So, those are the kind of things that are front of mind, not our access to sort of funding streams. The
Yeah.
interactions I had with this commissioner were more interesting, I think, and some of them actually got a lot of attention on social media.
Well,
We
because
engaged
she's
in an
a
almost
freaking-
philosophical debate at times.
Yeah.
You heard the earlier
God, she was
interveners
just-
from Legacy Radio who are doing their best, it seems, to access the advantages that the digital world provides, but are still, struggling mightily because of the impact of that the online streamers have had on the entire ecosystem.
The entire ecosystem.
What would your suggestions
It's like,
be
I'm
to
sorry,
legacy
like,
media
we have the
to
right to
overcome
exist
some of
and
their
express our opinions.
It's really difficult, isn't it? Because and I don't want to be too ideological or political about this, but are we entitled to succeed in our chosen field, right?
Yeah.
Like, are we entitled to have success in any sort
Or
of
even
profession
just
that we
do
choose
it
to
out of
pursue?
enjoyment.
I would
like-
argue my own personal preference is that sometimes no. If I open a bakery and my bakery fails, am I entitled to be successful as a baker? If I open a bakery in a terrible community where there's no interest in the baked goods I have to offer, who has failed in that position? Have I failed? Has society failed me? Has the government failed me? I don't know. These are ultimately sort of like philosophical, ideological questions that have to be answered. I think that when a lot of Canadians, particularly younger Canadians, hear about radio stations failing, they think, well, that's just how it goes. Industry, technology,
We're sick of
marches
legacy
on, and
media.
there's always winners and losers. And I think that there is concern, as I said
So
in my
I'm
opening
gonna
statement,
shut this
at
off
the idea
at the
that a
3-hour
time when
mark.
there's a huge, thriving, sort of forward-looking, modern, youthful wing of the Canadian cultural economy and cultural space in the form of online content creators who are often
Maybe
very
3:30.
entrepreneurial, very self-directed, people that have started from very little and have become very successful. In some cases,
Just
some of the biggest
watching the
celebrities in the
time.
entire world simply by starting out making content or music or videos in their bedrooms or parents' basement or whatever. The idea that those people are in perhaps in some way like a problem that now needs to be solved in order
That
to
is
subsidize
how it
people
feels
that,
like.
like God bless
it,
them, are
like
sort of clinging to a
it
perhaps
feels
a
like
dream
she
of success
wants to
in a medium
exterminate
that there just
us.
isn't
Like we're a
market or public
problem
demand
that
for
needs
anymore.
to get rid
So,
of.
But there's also responsibilities that go with those things. You don't have to worry about public alerting. You don't have to worry about
yeah, we
weather
do.
reports that
Yeah,
warn
we do.
forest fires and warning
Yeah,
people
we
to
do.
get out of their homes and things like that.
Yeah, we
You don't
do.
have the
Actually, that
obligation
is
to
half
try and
of,
find emerging
especially now,
artists
Facebook
and
has
giving
blocked
them their
us.
first leg up. All of those artists Canadian artists that you see.
So if
that
there
are
is
doing
an
so well on
emergency, it
YouTube,
is sometimes
they,
people, little
they
channels.
don't go immediately from
And,
that
you know,
necessarily to worldwide
because
stardom
we're not
without
on the big
the assistance and
like
the-
she
the-
assumes
the
that
grateful
people who
and
do like
acknowledged,
we're not
sort of the
aware.
honor
Meanwhile,
that we
I
have
look at
to,
her like
to expose Canadian content, especially emerging Canadian content makers, to the world. And that comes from
we want a nice
the legacy,
sanitized, perfect little
broadcasters.
version of
And,
Canada.
so
like I'm sorry,
I
she is
simply-
like
I take
with the legacy
entrepreneurial
media.
approach as
She's
obviously
very
extremely
uncomfortable with
successful
all us
and very
dirty little
advantageous.
YouTubers
But,
and social media
I still
because we
believe
aren't
that,
like
you have an awful
authorized
lot
by
to
the
offer
CRTC.
to legacy media.
We need the
And I
legacy
would,
media because, well, I don't know. It just this is I would put forward notions that you guys need to be exterminated. Yes, I think so. Our public policy.
You don't have to worry about.
No, we do. We
reflecting
worry about it more, Lynn.
equity-seeking
Cunts like her.
groups.
And I
You
did
don't have
say
to
the
do
C
any of
word.
that.
I'm sorry.
But they do, and I wonder how you might work together.
I mean, it's a fair question. I do sort of find.
But a lot of
I guess
content
I just always sort of
creators
wonder
don't
what is the public's role, what is the consumer's role, the
are
consumer
just
media,
there to
how do
make
they
their
fit into this
videos
equation
on
as
like
well?
cats
You know,
or cooking or
oftentimes when
carpentry.
media is not commercially successful, the justification is
Like,
made that they
aren't
possess
there
a kind of
to-
like moral
they're
worth that should
like-
not be sort of discarded or discounted. And I think that you can.
I
make
think
that
the
case very
entire
easily. You can say
CRTC
things
needs to be abolished.
You know, the sort of the humble radio station or whoever is making news of a higher quality than anything
because
that
it's
can be found
actually
online, and
irrelevant
perhaps that's the case.
in this day and
but
age.
then the public's role in this has to be factored in as well. And if you're making the highest quality content in the world, and if it's heavily subsidized by the state or whatever, but if that content is not being consumed by the public, then what public good is really being served?
Exactly.
Right?
This is the CBC right now. Nobody's watching it. I'm sorry, I'm not watching it. I'm watching like Bellingham.
And so that's just kind of a sense that
I'm watching like American media. Like I haven't. I live 5 blocks from a Canadian television station, and I cannot get their signal because our infrastructure is so bad. But I can pick up the States with a basic little antenna from Radio Shack.
A lot of creators who come
and I
at
think
this,
it was
perhaps
even
with
when it
best
was still Radio
intentions,
Shack,
but they don't have a clear sense of how their good intentions and their kind of moral sense of the project that they're undertaking.
I don't care. I only have 5 channels. I have YouTube and
it's like if I
other
do the best
media,
content
but
that I can possibly do on my radio
I
station
do
or my
not
newspaper
need
or whatever,
the Canadian
that's
government
all well and
to
good in the
tell
sense
me
of giving you a sense of
what I need
validation
to
and
watch.
pride in
It's
your
disturbing.
work, and perhaps the government will reward you for it in various
Mhm.
ways. But again, it's like if the public
Dance
not
for me,
consuming
monkey,
that content,
dance.
then I just think that we're suffering a severe disconnect
It's like,
between
hey,
the sort of mandate that organizations
look
like
at
the
Buffy
CRTC
St.
have
Marie.
and the this policy solutions
Just to
that are being
pause this,
offered
I know
in
I
pursuit of that mandate.
I'm probably going to move on from this. Even there's, you can. I think I might pull up the rest, but I wanted to just say, if we didn't have this whole, public funding, someone like Buffy St. Marie couldn't have grifted her way to stardom. And I know that is a very contentious spot. Some people are like, well, at least she still was giving attention to indigenous, arts, but she was an American pretending to be First Nations. Well, she pretended to be Native American, then she pretended to be First Nations. There's a difference between, across the border. And this never would have happened if we didn't have such a system for government grants. And if she was good at something, I barely can remember a song she's done, but I appreciate her, gift for grifting and being able to pick out all those government grants. I really, is there any token thing I can get to check off the box to get free money for art? I would love it. Yeah. No, sorry. This is what makes the CRTC uncomfortable, because we are we don't need you. And they're like, but you need government control. And we're like, no, we don't. We've been doing it for years. We haven't asked you guys for anything. We work regular jobs and hope for the best with whatever people give us, or on our merchandise, or, just, we hope for the best, but we'd rather just do it on our own than ask for you and become, under the control of a government entity. That is really where the line in the sand with what JJ is saying, because then you are controlled. You are being dance for me, monkey. You are not producing your own content. And it's even worse than some of the nepotism and grooming they say goes on in Hollywood. It is on our own level in Canada. But this is how you get those special government grants, and you can get your cartoon on the National Film Board, and you basically end up selling your soul. And so this woman trying to be why should we let you little peasants exist? It's because we want free speech. This is in our charter, and we do not need some little stuffed up suit to tell us how we need to behave, or right now in Canada on Facebook, news is blocked because of these new regulations. So if it is people who happen to talk about stuff on their channels, then all of a sudden you are actually a villain just because you're sharing news that should have been shared anyways. Like, I don't even know how this is gonna work. Or like a channel that, yeah, I'm living in Canada, but I've never had to. I make stained glass, and I've never had like any political involvement. I just want to make stained glass. Now all of a sudden it's like you're having to be, oh, I'm Canadian. I'm this great Canadian, instead of like, I make stained glass. And some people don't even want to admit they live here anymore. Like, seriously, like, you're getting people to almost like, people talk about using like, oh, my dead name because I'm a, trans fake now. Did I say that out loud? Yeah, people don't want to admit they're Canadian. Like, bad jokes. Let's go back to, let me just see. I didn't have a lot for today. Oh yeah, that's another one on that whale. I pulled that one up yesterday. Oh, this chick was unhinged. Oh god, let's just keep scrolling. This one, I think you've seen this. How long is this?
I'm a patron here.
Like, could you imagine? Like, I couldn't imagine treating someone like that unless
morons at a coffee
they were like,
shop,
I knew they were going to shoot up, which I don't think this little Jewish woman was going to shoot up in the bathroom.
I want to go into the restroom.
I do need you to leave. I know Israel loves taking private property and saying it's their own, but we gotta head.
Wow.
You're also in the restroom, so I need you to leave. I want you to go into the restroom. I need you to leave, please. I was patron here, and I have a right to go into the restroom.
And we have a right to refuse service.
Yeah, but I need to go into the restroom. I'm asking you to leave. No, you need to let me go into the restroom. I don't. I'm a patron here, and I need to go to the restroom.
And I think I even found an interview with the guy that got fired. And I'm just like, whatever, dude.
We have a restroom next door. No, I want to use
it's a restroom.
We're saying no. I should not be excluded and other people allowed. They're saying no. I want to go into the restroom.
Why are they even wearing masks? Like, what year is this?
Let me into the restroom?
We can use our other restroom. We have another restroom.
I want to use this one. They're not letting me.
All you don't get is a video of it saying that
apparently there is some bad graffiti on the wall.
Why are you afraid that I will take a picture of it?
Oh, actually,
okay.
Yeah, great.
If you agree with it, why? Why are you afraid? Then why are you not letting me in?
Because this is what you're
doing. Yeah.
History didn't start in 1948, lady.
Yeah.
Free Palestine. It's always.
Please leave. Thank you.
Wow.
It's always. Yeah, great. We love it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Think how
wow, eh?
I'm sure we got you out of
I don't know, like, even with, like, pulling up that guy's interview, I was sort of like, there's...
intersectional, green-haired...
Yeah.
They've all been fired, so actually...
Yeah, they all have been fired in
work at that
the...
coffee shop. But imagine, regardless of whatever your feelings are happening about 10,000 miles away across the Atlantic in the Middle East, that you would stop a woman from going to the bathroom who buys a cup of coffee at your store because of whatever your feelings about that thing are. But that is how this has happened.
Like, it almost seemed staged, but it actually was real. Yeah, like, damn, people are dumb. Yeah.
Happened at Farley's East. A Jewish customer called the graffiti anti-Semitic before baristas kicked her out of the coffee shop. Ground Force Rob Nesbitt talked with one of the fired employees of Farley's East today.
Here we go.
Has their side of the story.
What
there
is
have
this?
been protests in the Bay Area calling for a ceasefire in Palestine.
What does this
as well as
LTN have
protests
to
calling
say
for
for
the return
himself?
of Israeli hostages taken by Hamas. The war in the Middle East
Like,
now has a coffee
come
shop
on,
in
buddy.
Oakland apologizing for the actions of 3 of its former employees.
Are you
Farley's East in
there
Oakland
is
was
no
closed Monday
excuse.
with a statement posted on the front door. Owners Amy and Chris Hilliard addressing the now viral video of a Jewish customer walking through the coffee shop's restroom on December 3rd. In the video, you see graffiti that says Zionism equals fascism, and 3 Farley's employees are recorded asking the customer to leave. The statement saying in part, quote, "Events like these strike fear in the Jewish community and perpetuate the rise of
don't drag it
anti-Semitism in
into
our community
work.
and around the world. We do not tolerate any behavior at Farley's that makes
You
people
know.
feel unwelcome or unsafe. Because this act was not aligned with our values, the employees involved in the incident are no longer employed by
Good.
Farley's."
Yeah, shocking.
One of those employees is Jesse Turner, who can be heard in the video saying "Free Palestine." Turner says he was suspended on Wednesday and then fired on Thursday, along with 2 other employees. He's worked at the coffee shop for 6 years and has always felt supported by the owners until now.
Whoa, this is like a part-time job, and all of a sudden I'm like everywhere, and a lot of assumptions about my character from the very little context it's given there.
According to Turner,
Yeah,
the owners of
but
the coffee shop knew about
that
the graffiti
was
for the 2
enough
months that it was on the bathroom
context.
walls, but had it
I
taken
wouldn't feel
down the day
comfortable
after
there.
The video was posted. Since the
And I'm not-
employees were
I'm not
fired,
even
4
Jewish,
others have
but
put in
I just-
solidarity. Turner says he does not want his job back, but does want to amplify
I
injustices
don't like
against
going into
Palestine,
places
saying
like
criticism
that
of Israel
anymore.
is
It
not
just,
anti-Semitism.
Self-determination is always the goal for me. And that means everyone. That means Jewish. That means Palestinian.
The owners of Farley's East declined Cron 4's request for an interview. Reporting in the newsroom, I'm Rob Nesbitt, Cron 4 News.
like, yeah, like, I'm glad, like, I can't believe he's, like, complaining about that.
Hey, dude. Merry Christmas. How dare you? Oh, that's my favorite Greta Thunberg quote. It's not Merry Christmas. It's Happy Holidays.
Why is that?
Because not everyone celebrates Christmas, and you saying Merry Christmas is uninclusive to them, and is you just projecting your white colonialism onto them.
White colonialism, eh? Well, I think Christmas originated in the Middle East by way of non-white people.
Doesn't matter. But saying Happy Holidays is inclusive to everyone, no matter what traditions they celebrate.
Happy holidays, huh? Well, what if someone isn't happy and you say happy holidays to them? Doesn't that express the same levels of uninclusiveness as what you're trying to avoid by being defiant to my phrase of Merry Christmas?
Now we're at the point where I'm about to get angry because you're using logic to dismantle my childish, tyrannical, emotionally charged stance.
I suspected that would be true.
Why do you people find it even necessary to celebrate Christmas?
Well, a lot of people find it beneficial to have a Lord to worship and
Yeah.
obey for their betterment. A Lord that dedicated his life to saving them.
I have that.
You have Jesus?
Ew, gross. No. Fauci.
Ew, gross.
My Lord is science.
My Lord is divinity. Now look, though we have disagreements around what you call the holidays and what I call Christmas, I bet we have some common ground somewhere.
Yeah, like the magic of the holiday season. How someone is always watching you, judging you, whether you're being naughty or nice, and then rewarding you or punishing you accordingly to help keep you in line.
Okay, yeah, I guess we can agree on Santa Claus.
Santa Claus? No. I'm talking about mass surveillance and a social credit score system.
Yikes. Well, would you at least agree that this time of year is nice because it gives you a good reason to get together with your family?
What are you talking about? It's still not safe to gather indoors. Are you trying to kill everyone? You still think it's not safe to gather with people? I have a lot of faith in my Lord.
A frightening amount.
Besides, if it was safe, even though we're far from that,
I don't want to get together with my family. Why not? Because that might strengthen my family unit. I find it more beneficial to do my best to destroy my nuclear family. I think you're toxic. I want you to leave my house. No, I'm not leaving. Get out. No! Merry Christmas. How dare you say that again? I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great Christmas. I have an admission. I'm 42 years old, and I started to find I was having trouble starting my day. I'd wake up with low energy, aches and pains, having trouble getting going in the morning. I was shocked to find the difference that red light therapy started to make in improving my energy, eliminating aches and pains, and helping start my day with a lot of energy. So now every single day I start my day meditating in front of the Supermax red light therapy device by Bon Charge. Bon Charge is a holistic wellness company that makes a wide range of amazing health products to help you optimize your life and your health in every way. Nobody else makes it easier to get the health benefits from red light therapy than Bon Charge. They make the best red light therapy products on the planet at affordable prices. Red light therapy has a proven track record at helping people with sore muscles, improving sleep, reducing stress, promoting relaxation, and even boosting testosterone. Here's something you may not know. Red light therapy has been reviewed in over 4,000 peer-reviewed studies. And not only are the benefits proven in these studies, but not one negative side effect has ever been shown. Here's another admission I have. Being 42 years old, my face was starting to show it with wrinkles. But because I know red light therapy has been shown to boost collagen production and help eliminate wrinkles, I started using the red light face mask regularly, and I can already tell a difference in my face, looking younger and more supple. The Supermax and the red light face mask offer both near-infrared and infrared light. Here's the best part. This holiday season, Bon Charge is offering a massive 25% discount on everything site-wide. So if you want to both look younger and feel younger, it's time to bring red light therapy into your life. The time's never been better with 25% off at boncharge.com/JP. But hurry, the sale ends soon.
If people like have their promotions, I try and show them. Also, another promotion is definitely sign the petition. Okay, that one didn't load. That one didn't load either. This is... wow.
What's the onshore bond in question right now, and what kind of credit protection did it give creditors?
This is
Yeah,
bad.
that's right. So,
this is
result
bad. This
that
could
Country Garden
tank
managed
the
to avoid
economy
a default
faster than
onshore
Trudeau.
was really hard fought by both the company and
Yeah.
the regulator in China. So there are two yuan
Yeah,
bonds that
this
Country
is
Garden
bad
face
one.
interest payment, but more importantly, they also have an early redemption option for the investors. So since last week, the Shenzhen Exchange has been talking to holders of one of the notes, which has a CDS, a credit default swap, plus an early redemption option, trying to convince them not to ask for early repayment of the bond. And so this week we learned that none of the investors proceeded with that early redemption requirement, which helped the company to essentially manage to avoid an onshore default.
How significant would it be for Country Garden to avoid a default?
Yeah, I think importantly we have to distinguish, for these developers what happens with their onshore debt versus their offshore debt. So Country Garden has already defaulted on the offshore dollar bond in October, and since then it has been, trying to avoid scenario happen onshore, because the result or the consequences of that happening would be catastrophic to its buyer confidence onshore and also to the wider property market. So I think that result is widely expected, because we have seen in the past that Chinese developers have been prioritizing onshore investors over foreign investors. This is yet another example of how foreign investors are left with a prolonged multi-year process of restructuring, while well, the onshore investors managed to dodge that such default scenario and managed to avoid, bearing huge losses.
Yeah, it's the Chinese housing market has very much influenced the Canadian housing market, and their housing market is absolutely corrupt. It is horrible. And it's spilling over here. It's bad. Bad. Oh, this is also really bad. Like, how long is this? Not long.
Winter sets in as New York City faces growing migrant challenge.
Yeah, I'm shutting this down at
last summer we saw
22:30.
New York City.
10:30.
Scores of asylum seekers slept on the sidewalks outside the Migrant Processing Center at Roosevelt Hotel in Midtown last summer. Now, as winter approaches, the situation may become even more dire.
What the hell
for these
job
migrants.
did I apply to?
With a deepening challenge of the migrant seekers in New York City,
Sorry.
plummeting temperatures, the approaching shelter deadlines, advocates are increasingly concerned about how these migrants will endure the cold season. Dave Griffith, the director of the Coalition for the Homeless, emphasized, as the weather gets cold, this becomes a life or death issue. It's going to be really difficult.
People are not used.
Currently, New York City is caring for about 67,000 asylum seekers. If you go for the website Coalition for the Homeless, you get 87,907 people homeless right now in this homeless shelter system. Last month, pictures emerged of migrants bundled up in front of the former Catholic school in Manhattan's East Village, as they're now serving as a relocation site at the St. Bridget School. However, the primary issue is not people leaving the city, but finding shelter within it. Here's the Bridget School.
They had their chance to leave. I'm sorry, you might be stuck there.
I like the police state we have to live under here. The city has made some efforts to keep people indoors at the relocation center, but the problem persists. As the temperatures drop, more migrants are forced to endure the cold, with even some sleeping outside the shelter. Now, Mayor Adams' administration has committed significant funds to support asylum seekers, including opening over 210 emergency shelters. Jeez. They're even seeking additional financial assistance from the state and federal government to address the ongoing crisis. Now, advocates worry that the city's approach to the winter, with the strict shelter and reapplication policies that are relatively historic accommodations, may lead to more migrants being left out in the cold. In an attempt to reduce costs, the city has sought to suspend its unique right to shelter rule. The dispute over the right to shelter has reached mediation between the city and the Legal Aid Society and the governor's office. Advocates continue to fight for the right to shelter as they fear the suspension may result in tent cities. Advocates are still concerned about the challenges facing asylum seekers in the winter. The impending deadline for some families with children find shelter or reapply in the city adds to the uncertainty. And as the winter approaches, it's clear the city faces significant challenges in providing shelter support for the growing population of illegal aliens. And the situation remains complex and troubling. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments.
Yeah, I cannot imagine, New York would be chaos enough without all of this extra. Oh, God.
Oh, I want you to define
That sounds
what
a little
toxic
long,
masculinity constitutes.
I think
Since
I'm
we're
going to close it off
define
on
things
this
so carefully,
one.
Let's do it.
See what else is up.
That you kind of...
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope all's good wherever you are. In this video, we're going to watch one of the
Like I
greats, one of
said,
my
I gotta
favorites
close
this
it off
bias,
in 15 minutes.
Jordan Peterson debate a feminist on a topic that I'm really into, and that is masculinity and the lack of it in society. Because
Sorry,
I firmly believe that masculinity is not toxic; the lack of it is. Let's get
And
into it.
also,
my question is, what is the antidote towards
wanted to
toxic
show you
masculinity?
something.
Well, the antidote is responsible masculinity. And what does responsible mean? It means, if you're responsible...
I know it doesn't look very impressive, but all of this...
honest.
Like, it's literally grown an inch since I brought it into the house. Like, I can watch it grow like... Yes, I know you. I can watch it grow like a chia pet, almost.
That's a good start.
And all of this was just like barely, like it looked like it was dead, and now it's like all nice and green, and
bend over backwards to
right on the inside there's some nice like... Yeah, it's pretty much grown an inch in a few hours.
If you get halfway as good
You're
at that,
a wonderful
well, then,
little
you
monster,
might
aren't
think
you?
about taking on
Yes,
the
you
responsibility
are.
of the family and contributing to your community and
very
doing all
gentle
those
with
things
you.
in a harmonious manner. That's obviously the antidote to toxic masculinity, which is not a phrase I would generally use. I just think about it as, what would you call it? I think sinful behavior is a much more accurate representation, personally, but it's honesty and responsibility.
What essentially saying is you need to have good morals, you need to have good values. Making men more feminine is what these feminists tend to want. It's not going to solve the problem. Like, bad men, because there are toxic people in the world, not just men, but women. There's toxic people. Bad men don't stop being bad when they stop being men. They stop being bad when they start being good. Like, the same traits that foster greed in men that build economies, the same traits that make men do stupid, foolish things are the same exact traits that make men do heroic stuff. You got to teach boys and men to harness that. The answer to this toxic masculinity that she's going on about is not less masculinity. It's not make men more like women. It's better masculinity.
Yeah.
The problem in today's society is that the men are not masculine enough. You got to teach young boys how to harness this. This is how they're going to become healthy, productive members of society. This is how they become leaders, CEOs,
and this goes for women as well.
Fathers.
Like, just
it's the same exact
can
traits.
You just be
but you need to learn how to harness it. Just taking it away from men.
Can you just
not
be dumb?
Turning men more into women, you're going to end up with some evil
and there
men
are only
out there.
two
You're not
genders.
going to
Oh
end
my God, I
up
said
with
that.
these great men, great fathers. The boys that open the doors for their girlfriend
Unless
on
you're a
first
tree,
date,
then
men
there's
that are
like,
soldiers, protectors, providers.
And even I play tree online, but I know there's
and I do
like,
think about it as a function of harmony. I got
I'm
that a
so
lot
happy
from
with
Jean
that
Piaget,
little.
whose work was in psychological.
It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful tree.
Because Kant believed that you should act in a manner such that if the way you acted became a universal, that would be beneficial.
It's actually growing so fast, I can actually watch it grow.
One of the basis for the emergence of a system
well,
of
like even fertilizer and a lot of like extra stuff, like
reciprocity, so that so for example.
It's literally like I have to keep turning it on my table because the thing keeps like perking up.
It's a Piagetian game, a developmental game.
I swear it's listening to me.
She discovered this by watching, but also on her own. And partly
it's like I love it.
So she has this little wooden spoon, and her game is you sit with her at the table, and her game is she gives you the spoon.
And also, my neighbor was so happy. It's like,
and then you give it back. And then
it's off her car. Like, soon as I cut that big branch,
and then they give it back
and
to her, and
that branch is doing so well.
So it's an amazing game because
the
she's
whole
learned to give
bigger
up
branch lifted up
let
off
go
of her car, and I was like, "Oh yeah,
and to trust someone
both
else
of you
to
feel
return it
relief
to her,
off
that's
of
what
this."
she's playing with, and then you can play with that game. It's quite fun.
Gonna
so
grab some more tomorrow.
And you have to pay careful attention to her and watch how she's manifesting her emotions. And so maybe what you do is you take the spoon and you hide it under your hand. That sort of disconcerts her.
No,
a bit.
it's okay.
Then you show it to her and pick it up and give it to her, and she's happy about that.
I just need my clippers.
What she sees is that the principle of reciprocity can maintain
you
itself
know, my
across
clippers
a
are a little sharper than my scissors. I thought it wouldn't be so overgrown.
You can give her the spoon, and she can give it back to you, and then she can reach for it, and you can pull it away a quarter of an inch.
It's so
gorgeous. And that sort of disconcerts her. And then she'll...
If you watch my artwork, I love trees.
Yes,
and
it's dealing with the dealing with the
obviously
principle of reciprocity.
You just said that you have to be honest and responsible as a man. Right?
Well, put it this way. When I'm giving the spoon back to my granddaughter, I'm not engaging in toxic masculinity.
So Dr. Peterson breaks out the Jean Piaget analogy, which was a really good one. He's super smart, so he likes to break stuff down. He likes to go into
go for
elaborate
the
details and give
Raised by Wolves
anecdotes
goes
and
through
examples,
the throat.
but it went right over her head. And I'm not gonna lie, when I was in my
Yeah,
early 20s,
she
I wouldn't have
just
known
did.
anything about
He
Shop
was
PSAT,
just
but
sitting
this
there and
girl looks
dancing
like she's probably
circles
studying
around
lesbian
her.
dance or something.
I'm gonna
she ain't gonna be the one
just
to know
pause
about
him.
Jean Piaget.
I just want to see, like, you can find the rest of his commentary on my blog. There's another one of Jordan Peterson. You know, I might go back to this tomorrow, and I think I'm just going to close it off with my latest animation. And it didn't quite turn out the way I thought. It was supposed to be the 12 Days of Christmas, and it didn't, the music didn't match up with the artwork. And I also wanted a piece that I could watch when it wasn't Christmas, even though it's still a Christmas theme of the 12 Days of Christmas. It wouldn't have that connotation like I can only watch this during the, holiday season, since God forbid we say Christmas anymore. So Merry Christmas. I hope you had a good stream. I'm gonna just close it out on this new animation. I am working on more and rearranging some of the stuff I've been working on. I really wanted to do a fuller length video for New Year's, but it's just not looking like it's gonna happen. It's just too much. Like, even just trying to get this video together was, it wasn't just like 12 days of Christmas. It was like, 2 weeks of planning beforehand and just frantic editing. Still fucked up the audio. So, hate it, love it. I don't care. Hope you have a good night. And this is Cryptomaria, over and out. I love the animation with this one. I just need to, I have so many other projects. I want to work on some other things. And I tried to make it seem like an old record player. I don't think it really came across. Oh well.
I was happy then with no mindset. And if you turn to me like a girl takes to win, I'd join the trees and I dance like a king in the ice. So the rest of our lives will fade away. Slang when you notice the stripes, the dirt in your throat. Hope it's right when you die, old and lonely. No breaks like a bullet through the hall. Never should have called, but my head's to the wall and I'm lonely. And if you turn to me like a girl takes the wind, I join my dreams and I dance like a king in the ice. So the rest of our lives will to the bodies 20 miles away. I'm looking in on the good life of mine. You'll never find without the drugs, the flaming fields, and pure option pride. And if you took to me like a rock, I'll be dance like a queen in the ice, or the rest of our lives like dead.